What's good, baseball fans, and welcome into Spillane Field for a Sunday evening matchup between the Wareham Gatemen and the Bourne Braves. I'm Jake Garcia. He's Eric Bramer. Megan O'Brien will be joining us here in just 1 second. Last night at Spillane Field was a whole lot of fun. The All-Star Game festivities being held here, even though the Eastern Division took it by a final score of 1-0. More about the overall festivities and atmosphere than the actual end result. But now it's time to get back to business. The Gatemen come into this game losers of their past 2 ball games, most recently against the Brewster Whitecaps. But things appear to be looking up because now they're done playing the top 3 teams in the East. They welcome in a Bourne team in which they've beaten on 3 occasions.
Yeah, the Gatemen have had a lot of success against the West Division. The Bourne Braves are no exception, 3-0-1 against the team from Bourne. And the Gatemen really looking forward to this last week of the season, not only because they have a chance to improve their stock in the playoffs, but because they're playing a lot of teams in the West Division, a team that they know very well.
We'll take a look at the pitching matchup here tonight. One, because it's really important for this singular game, and as we look forward into the playoffs, that's going to be the biggest storyline for all the baseball teams. Bourne sends a guy in Cody Sedlock to the mound, in which the Gatemen have seen before, but a lot's changed since then. Sedlock now comes off his worst outing of the year.
Yeah, the last time we saw Sedlock was in early June, and while the Gatemen lineup looks a lot different, Sedlock looks pretty much the same. The ERA a little bit high for the Cape League at 4, but pretty good overall. He has 22 strikeouts and 21 innings pitched, so he has swing and miss potential. The Gatemen will have to swing early in the count and attack the zone.
Sedlock's last outing, like I said, is worst of the season, the only time this year in which he's allowed more than 1 earned run in a start. Meanwhile, the Gatemen send Matt Crook to the mound, and he's trending in a completely opposite direction. Last outing, only 2 innings pitched. That's come to be the norm for him, but 4 strikeouts against the Commodores. Things for him are starting to click right now.
Yeah, and it's part of his process coming back from Tommy John surgery. He's had some command issues, and that's to be expected. But even in his early outings, when he wasn't giving up any runs, he was walking guys, that all seemed to be alleviated in his last start, and he'll look to build on that. 2 perfect innings with 4 strikeouts. You can't get much better than that.
Crook against Sedlock tonight. We'll now send it out to our field reporter, Megan O'Brien, who caught up with the parents of Matt Crook.
Right, Jake and Eric, I caught up with the parents of Matt Crook the other day after his phenomenal performance, the best that we've seen out of Crook so far, but that's the Crook they're used to seeing. And they said, you know, it's been difficult for the whole family after he's come back from that Tommy John surgery. They just want to support their son and watch his journey. And they said it's not an easy surgery to come back from. It's hard on them, it's hard on their son, but they still have full faith in their son and his ability to come back from this Tommy John surgery. And it's just part of his journey like any other baseball player. So we'll look for more progression from Crook tonight. Back to you guys.
White's going to attempt to tag. The throw to the plate in time. He got him.
The 0-1 to Matajevic, hit well to center field. Charlie Warren ranging back to left centered, reaching up and making the catch, crashing into the wall. What a catch by Charlie Warren, robbing an extra base hit and keeping the no-hitter intact.
Oh my goodness, that was just a devastating breaking ball thrown by Spitzbarth there. It looks sort of like an E-fist.
3-1. Hit well to right field. Walker back. This one is gone. A grand slam for Jay Jabs and 6 runs for the Gatemen here in the second.
That was an absolute moonshot. Here he is. Fastball in there, strike 3, got him looking. Bailey Clark escapes the jam.
3-1. Hit well to left center field. Bird is back. He is not going to catch it. It's off the base of the wall. 1 run will score. Jabs is quickly behind him. He will score as well. It's a 2 RBI double for Andrew Kisner, and the Gatemen now lead 7-0. Now has a 2-2 to Bortles. He got him. Zach Houston comes in the game and strikes out the side.
Ground ball up the middle. Grand Prix spins around, throws. What a play, Preston Grand Prix.
Hi, I'm Kyle Schwarber, and you're listening to Wareham Gatemen Baseball.
Now from the press box, it's great to have you with us. Jake Garcia, Eric Bramer, and Megan O'Brien on hand on a Sunday evening to deliver you a matchup between the Wareham Gatemen and the Bourne Braves. Wareham checking into this game at 15-21-1. Meanwhile, Bourne at 17-18-2. Bourne's magic number would drop to 1 point tonight with a win and a Falmouth loss. The Gatemen still on the outside picture of the playoff, but if the season were to end today, they would be firmly entrenched at 3rd place in the Western Division in the Cape League. The Gatemen look for their first win of the season on a Sunday evening, 0-5 up to this point. They'll do battle against a Bourne Braves lineup presented by Harvey Shapiro that goes like this. Nick Solak in the leadoff spot from Louisville. He's in left field. Ryan Boltz in center field and batting second. Brendan McKay, a pleasure to see Brendan McKay in the lineup tonight after being held out of Game 4 of this series against these two teams. But McKay's over at first and batting third. Peter Alonso's DHing, and in the cleanup position, Corey Jolks is batting fifth. And corresponding on the defensive side of things, at the 5 position, over at third base, Reed Humphreys in right field and batting sixth. Jason DeLay is behind the plate and batting seventh. Camden Duznak is playing shortstop and batting eighth. Mike Garzilla will round out the lineup. He is batting second, or rather at second, and batting ninth. Mentioned that Cody Sedlock is taking the mound for the Bourne Braves. We'll now go through the lineup for the Wareham Gatemen presented by Cooper Ferris. The red-hot Andrew Kalika is batting leadoff, and in his typical center field position, Kramer Robertson gets a second straight start in the 2-hole. He's over at second base. Gavin Stupensky, after 4 amazing games at the plate and behind the plate, he's bumped up all the way to the 3 position, putting down the signs for his pitcher Matt Crook. David McKinnon is batting fourth and playing first base. Nick Sierra, the DH, batting fifth. Andrew Kisner is batting sixth and playing third base. Jay Jabs struggling a little bit at the plate right now, but he'll bat seventh and be in right field. The winner of the Home Run Derby, Logan Sowers, is batting eighth and in left field. And Preston Grand Prix rounds out the lineup, batting ninth and playing shortstop. Taking a look at the season-long series between these two teams, Wareham comes in 3-0-1. They beat the Braves on June 12th, dropping the Braves to 0-5 on the season. They beat the Braves on June 3rd, 7-4. The 4th of July was a 12-inning tie between these two teams, and then last time out on July 22nd, Wareham took it 7-3. This is the penultimate matchup between these two teams. On August 1st, Wareham travels over to Bourne to take on the Bravos at Doran Park. Last night, as many are aware, the All-Star Game was held at Spillane Field. A very fun endeavor for everyone involved, but a lot of work. Planning for that event started happening last August, and the people on the committee worked tirelessly to bring a pretty flawless execution of the overall day. Now that that's behind us, we have a week left of the Cape Cod Baseball League season. Off day tomorrow, and then from there the home stretch until the playoff run. The two managers have shaken hands. They've gone over the ground rules here at Spillane Field. Looks like we're about ready to present you our national anthem. We'll send it out to our crowd mic.
Singing the national anthem this evening, we have Amanda Goff. Amanda is a local music therapist from Plymouth, Mass. She enjoys singing and getting to work with both children and older adults within the community. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Amanda Goff.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous
Amanda Goff with an excellent presentation of our national anthem. We'll now have 3 ceremonial first pitches being thrown to Wareham Gatemen catcher Gavin Stupensky.
That's as many as there were last night in the All-Star game.
As you can, not right now, but eventually you'll be able to see the Cape Cod 2015 All-Stars engraved in painting, red painting behind home plate. A nice little touch for the ceremonies of last night.
Just a little bit faded now, but still legible, as it will be probably for the rest of the regular season.
In case our viewers weren't aware of this, but you actually called the game last night with the former Bourne Braves broadcaster. You got to impart your wisdom on the Cape League in general and then specifically on Wareham Gatemen players and their affairs. How did that go?
It went well. I was on WCAI, Cape and Islands, on a couple FM frequencies in the area and then available online, and I was doing color for the first and last 3 innings, then play-by-play for the middle 3, and you joined me for a couple of those. It was an interesting experience. Unfortunately, we had a technical miscommunication, and for a little bit during the game, the Garrison Keeler program, A Prairie Home Companion, was played instead of the Cape League All-Star game. So once we got that resolved, everything was great, but for a while, a little bit frustrating.
On a selfish note, I think that should just go to show that we do a pretty good job in getting our broadcasts up.
Yes.
Delivering all the action here at Spillane, which our typical video feed will be in action tonight. After an off day tomorrow, we will then hit the road, go to Harwich, present you an audio-only broadcast, follow that up with 2 home games in a row against YD and Harwich. The Gatemen All-Stars last night, Kalika, Sierra, Fox, those were the 3 starters. And then Charlie Warren, David McKinnon, Evan Hill, and Ian Hamilton all came on in relief. Ian Hamilton actually won co-MVP honors with another player, another pitcher, I believe, Devin Smeltzer on the West All-Star team, despite the fact that Nick Solak had 3 hits last night.
Yeah, Solak, though, was picked off early on in the game, and I think that's probably the tiebreaker, Solak not winning the award. And I agree. If you have 3 hits in a shutout game and you have to pick an MVP from the losing team, Solak was very deserving, but if I had to rationalize it, that's probably what I would say.
Well, Ian Hamilton definitely had scouts drooling over his stuff, and he's done that all season long. A great addition to this Wareham Gatemen team, and he's really excelled. As the playoffs start, it'll be interesting to see whether or not he will be in a starter's role or a relief role. Final note on that, Logan Sowers also won the home run derby. Before the All-Star game commenced, he blasts 6 bombs out of Spillane Field. It's something we've really come to know and enjoy watching him take batting practice. He replicated that when there was a little bit more pressure, not too much though. In the final round, all he needed was 1 home run, and he was ultimately the victor. So the Gatemen have some good vibes, some good performances from last night coming into this game. Run through the defense playing behind Matt Crook. It's Sowers, Kalika, and Jabs left to right in the outfield. Kisner and McKinnon are at the corners in the infield. Grand Prix and Robertson make up the double play combination. Stupensky behind the plate, and the lefty Matt Crook from Oregon taking the mound.
This will be the first time that Stupensky catches Crook. And Crook, when he's on, is darting his breaking pitches down in the zone. We'll see if that matters if or when runners get on base.
Crook making his 5th start of the year for the Gatemen. He'll oppose Solak, Bolt, and McKay here in the top of the 1st inning. Crook checks in with 7.2 innings pitched, and you wonder why he's gone 5 outings and only thrown 7 innings. Well, it's because he has been limited to 2 innings each and every time out. A 5.7 ERA, 12 strikeouts to 6 walks. Solak, the leadoff left fielder from Louisville, now ahead in the hitter's count, 2-0. There's the first strike of the game thrown by Matt Crook. First pitch time was at an even 6 o'clock here at Spillane Field. 75 degrees, mostly cloudy. There's a storm coming in that'll hit tomorrow and much later tonight, but we'll look to get this game in with ease. Solak now ahead 3-1, Crook falling behind early. Solak, as we mentioned, went 3 for 4 in the All-Star game yesterday. Just a reflection of his great season that he's had so far. .325 average, ranking 3rd in the Cape League. Now the count runs full. Bolt, the center fielder, is awaiting on deck.
Pretty good top of this Braves lineup. Solak and Bolt, all-stars. Brendan McKay might be the best hitter in the league.
Crook takes a deep breath into his windup and out of the plate. In on the fist and popped up, shallow infield. Preston Grand Prix, the shortstop, calls everyone off, and one out here to start off the first inning.
If Matt Crook has a couple quick innings here, we might entertain the notion of him coming out for a third inning. In his last start, he was good, perfect through 2 innings, 4 strikeouts, and he pled his case, but Cooper Ferris said, no, glad to hear that, but you're going to go out to the bullpen and throw the rest of your pitches. They don't want to have him have to leave in the middle of an inning, which is admirable.
Now it's Ryan Bolt who watches a breaking ball bounce in the dirt, stopped by Stepensky. Yeah, talking to Cooper Ferris before the game, he imparted on us that he believes it'll be Ryan Olson in long relief of Crook today. Of course, that could all change at a moment's notice, but for now, that's who we anticipate to see following Crook. And now he's fallen behind to 2 straight batters, 2-0 to Bolt. Bolt also an all-star yesterday. He had a hit as well, 1 for 2 in his 2 plate appearances. Scorching at the plate right now. He's raised his average all the way to 286 by being 7 for his last 10 at the plate. Takes a hack on the 2-0 and bounces one over towards the Gatemen dugout. A lefty-on-lefty matchup here in the second batter of the ball game. Crook into his windup. This ball in on the fist and bounced right over to David McKinnon at first base. 3 unassisted and 2 up, 2 down.
So 1 fly ball out, 1 ground ball out so far for Crook. No strikeouts yet, but those will come with time. Scouts love him because not only can he throw in the low to mid-90s from the left side, his spin movement, and that's something that can be tracked now on these Cape League games, is off the charts. He has so many revolutions on his pitches that they can dart in and out of the zone, they can tail, they can cut, they can do all sorts of things.
Nice to see the most advanced college baseball league getting a little bit more advanced in the technology they use. That's huge. Now we have the pleasure of seeing Brendan McKay, the 3-hitter, dig into the left-hander's box. McKay, by all intents and purposes, would have been an all-star in the Cape League had he not been playing for Team USA for the bulk of the summer. Quickly ahead, 2-0 against Matt Crook. This is really a power-on-power matchup. McKay was the John Olerud Award winner this past season. That award going to the best 2-way player in the nation. And McKay, he was only a freshman this past season at Louisville. The 2-0 pitch. Crook now falls behind 3-0. McKay's numbers are really off the charts. 117 strikeouts and 96 innings of work for Louisville. And he was their 4th starter by extension. Hit over 300 from the left side of the plate. Just an absolute force in the middle of the Louisville lineup. And Crook, of course, a former first-round draft pick out of high school. These are 2 very highly touted players doing battle against each other. Crook comes in on a 3-0 count. Now it's 3-1. See what he offers McKay. Breaks his bat and fields his position. Flip onto first in time. So Matt Crook looks good here in the first inning. 3 up, 3 down. The Gatemen will swing it on the other side of this break. Keep it here on the Cape Cod Baseball League Network and WCTV. A beautiful Sunday evening for baseball here at Spillane Field. The Gatemen against the Bourne Braves. It'll be Kalika Robertson and Gavin Stepensky due up in the bottom of the first inning to oppose Cody Sedlock. The defensive arrangement for the Bourne Braves in the outfield first goes like this. Solak, Bolt, and Humphreys left to right in the outfield. Jolks and McKay, the third baseman and the first baseman. Duznak at short, Garzillo at second. DeLay is putting down the signs for the right-hander from Illinois, a 6'4 right-hander, and Cody Sedlock. Talked a little bit about Sedlock in the open. Comes into this game 1-1 with a 4.09 ERA. His appearances this season have largely been out of the bullpen, but this will be his 3rd start and 3rd in a row. Last time out, got a little bit roughed up against Brewster, 4.2 innings of work and 4 earned runs. Does miss some bats, though, as you alluded to.
Yeah, and the Brewster offense, pretty different from the Gateman offense. We saw that in evidence on Friday night. He gets swings and misses, and when he makes mistakes, well, the Brewster Whitecaps can capitalize on it. I'm not sure if the Wareham Gatemen can. The Gatemen, when they get their barrel on the bat, are typically hitting singles, and the Whitecaps are getting extra base hits.
Cody Sedlock starts off Andrew Kalika by bouncing a fastball well in front of home plate. Delay the catcher, unable to come up with it cleanly, and it just pelts the home plate umpire tonight. So delay out to the mound to give the home plate umpire a little bit of time. Kalika laughing it off. Kalika at 447. His average continues to be among the best in the Cape, and had he had enough plate appearances, it would be the best. Here he serves one out to left field. Solak awaits, puts it away for out number 1. Kalika, of course, an all-star for the Gatemen last night. He was actually quiet in that game, 0 for 2.
2 infield groundouts, and at least in defeat, he did not get away from what has made himself so successful. He wasn't swinging for the fences or anything, chopping the ball into the ground. Unfortunately for him, nothing to show for it.
Kalika comes into this game with 5 straight multi-hit games. So his average was above 400, then dropped below 400 as Robertson sends one back up the middle, but Sedlock fields his position. On to first, 2 quick outs. But Kalika's average had dipped below 400, and after a recent hot surge, it looks firmly entrenched above 400. The season ended today. He would end it with the second-best Cape League batting average ever.
Gavin Stepensky coming in, batting third in a spot that he probably should have been hitting in from the start. Now in hindsight, the average very good, hitting for extra base pop. Already tied for second on the team with 4 doubles.
Stepensky from UNC Wilmington. Not sure if even he expected this kind of success in the early goings, but he and Cooper Ferris and the rest of this Gateman team will certainly take it.
Average at .563. 9 hits and 16 at-bats. 4 of them are doubles and 5 runs batted in.
And a hit in all 4 of his starts. He goes opposite field over to Solak, who stays busy over and left. So 6 up, 6 down for both teams after the first inning is complete. We're scoreless on the Cape Cod Baseball League Network and WCTV. Four, 5, and 6 due up for the Bourne Braves to oppose Matt Crook in his second inning of work. See Blake Fox now, the starter of last night's All-Star game, twirled a scoreless and hitless inning now out on the mound, and Manny Borges, one of the bullpen coaches, pouring some dirt on, trying to minimize, I guess, the muddiness of the mound, trying to make it a little bit more sandy, I guess.
Yeah, we saw the pitching staff working on the visitors' bullpen before the game as we were walking in from the parking lot this afternoon, and there was a decent amount of rain, just enough condensation or precipitation to get things a little bit gunky with this dirt.
It's commonplace to see both Cape League teams and MLB teams water down the field before the game. Makes it less dusty, but now the Gatemen would very much like some more dust as the mound has turned a little bit muddy. Peter Alonso, Corey Jolks, and Reed Humphreys due up here on the top of the second inning, scoreless between the Braves and the Gatemen. Since the Braves lost Game 4 of this matchup between these two teams back a few days ago, since then they've won 2 games in a row to make them 5-5 in their last 10 games, firmly entrenched in second place in the Western Division at 17-18-2. If they win tonight, and if the last place Falmouth Commodores lose, their magic number to clinch a playoff spot would be down to 1. A little bit more work left for the Gatemen as they're in third place at 15-21-1. They need to continue to play well, only being 1.5 games ahead of Cotuit in 4th, and 2 games ahead of Falmouth in 5th and in the cellar of the Western Division. Looks like the muddy issue has at least somewhat been taken care of, and we're set to commence the top of the second inning.
Interesting song choice, You're So Vain by Carly Simon, I believe.
What's your analysis of that? If you were to write a paper for your English literature class, what would it be about?
About the song You're So Vain?
Yeah, about the choice in this given context, I guess.
It deals with the subtext that Matt Crook is asking others to help out with the mound. I don't know.
Probably not
That was a
Matt,
stretch.
just Matt Crook. Maybe Cody Sedlock as well.
I guess.
Sorry if I put you on the spot there. That's
Well,
on me.
Yeah, I mean, not everything means everything. Sometimes a cigar is just a cigar, you know?
Rocketed down the third base line by Alonso, but hooking foul. Alonso, the cleanup hitter and DH from Florida, comes into this game with a .284 average. Alonso competed yesterday in the home run derby, but he, like 4 other people, fell victim to the victory by Logan Sowers.
You can keep that foul ball.
I had heard that this was the first home run derby that was used with the new Rawlings baseballs.
Right.
The Cape League switched over to Rawlings baseballs a couple of years ago, but they still had leftover diamond baseballs that were well known to travel farther.
The 0-2 pitch is in the dirt, but all the way to the backstop. Stepensky unable to stop it, and so Alonso will be aboard with a strikeout and then a wild pitch.
But apparently in the last couple years, they had used leftover diamond baseballs because they knew that they would go farther and presumably give the fans more of a show.
I was actually advocating yesterday for both a return to the old balls and possibly aluminum metal bats instead of wooden bats. Because why not?
It would definitely create more home runs. But I think people who were disappointed in the results of the home run derby, and I talked to a couple people, seem to forget that even in the Major League Baseball home run derby, when you have professionals, as the throw down to second is going to be well in time from Stupensky to get Alonso at second. Nice throw by Stupensky.
Finisher point, though. The people forgetting about what the Major League Home Run Derby is.
They remember the winners in the home run derby. They forget that every year, inevitably, there are 1 or 2 contestants who hit 0, 1, or 2 home runs when given 10 outs. So the fact that Logan Sowers hit 6 and 1, that would put him probably middle of the road in the Major League Baseball home run derby. The dimensions at Spillane Field are actually a little bit larger than Yankee Stadium.
Yeah, 315 over in left field. That's where Sowers was consistently pelting baseballs. This ball takes a funky hop off the cut of the grass and is into right field, a base hit for Corey Jolks.
Yeah, nothing that Dave McKinnon can do about that. He was in front of it and he was waiting for the hop, but it hit the very lip and the cut of the grass that was going sideways, and it rolls into foul territory.
Make that 4 times in the past 2 games in which lips of respective fields have come in and influenced the play on a ground ball. And arguably 5 if you count Ben Parr tripping over one.
I will. I'll count Ben Parr because I don't want to forget that. That should not go by the wayside.
So Jolks now on first base with kind of a cheapo base hit with 1 out in the top of the second. Jolks has some speed, double digits in the stolen base department. At the plate is the 6-hitter Reed Humphreys. Another Florida guy. Alonso from Florida was just caught on the base paths. Humphreys a .229 average, now down on the count 0-1. Crook comes set, now delivers to the plate, bounces one, but Stepensky on a hop keeps it in front. Even though Stepensky was unable to come away with the wild pitch from Crook, now on multiple occasions, and even with his arm strength, he's been great so far behind home plate. Crook, deep breath, now to the plate. Fouled off the shin guard of Stepensky, and now the count 1-2. Crook, the 6'3", 205 left-hander from San Mateo, California. Called St. Ignatius in San Francisco, his high school for 4 years. Here with the Gatemen, a 1-2 count to Reed Humphreys is fouled back and out of play.
I don't know anything about St. Ignatius, but if you had to guess their mascot, what would you say?
I know their mascot, so that's probably an unfair question.
What
to
is
me.
it?
The Wildcats.
Okay. I would not have guessed Wildcats. But last night, in our discussion with the Bourne Braves interns. I correctly guessed one of their high school mascots. So I was on a roll there for a while.
1-2, fastball misses outside. Count goes to 2-2. I've actually lifted weights in the weight room of the St. Ignatius football team before.
Well, there you go.
How I got access to that, the broadcaster for the Bourne Braves, Kerry Crowley, went to St. Ignatius as well. That's honestly why I mentioned that Crook is from St. Ignatius. Jolks takes off this pitch in the dirt. Stupensky unable to locate, and it'll be McKinnon who ultimately fields the baseball, but Jolks will cruise into second on the wild pitch.
We can hear a stray voice from the Gateman dugout say, "Get the batter." Crook shouldn't be concerned about Jolks at second. He's probably not going to take off for third here as Jim Lawler comes out to the mound.
I think the very fact that Crook threw one in the dirt showed that he wasn't concerned with Jolks, as it was. He was trying for the strikeout of Reed Humphreys. His stuff has, I guess, been effectively wild tonight. He's allowed 2 base runners here in the second inning. One of them wiped out, a caught stealing as Stupensky hosed Alonzo. Now Jolks, who reached on a funky infield base hit, and now is on second in scoring position on the wild pitch. Runners in scoring position has definitely been an issue, though, for this Bourne Braves team. They have struggled to hit in that department, according to the Bourne broadcasters, from the start of the season until now. And it hasn't corrected itself, as one would normally assume. This is a lineup loaded with good hitters. So you'd think eventually it would come back to the mean a little bit and they'd start finding a little bit more success. Robertson holding on Jolks at second. Foul ball off the foot of Reed Humphreys, and we'll reset, do things again with a 3-2 count. This Bourne Braves team as a whole, though, performs very well with runners not on base, and that's why they're in second place in this Cape Cod Western Division. And a big reason why is they hit for a lot of extra bases. First in the league in doubles with 52, and tied for first in the triples department with 6. You can credit the speed of Jolks and Solak, even Bolt, who plays center field, to a vast majority of those extra base hits. Here's the payoff pitch from Matt Crook, a fastball up in the zone. Humphreys elevates his hands. He was on it and fouled it back.
Gatemen have, what, 2 home runs in the month of July?
I believe so, yes.
Bourne Braves have 1 guy with 3 home runs. Everyone else with 2 or fewer, so the Braves are having just marginally more success with the long ball than the Gatemen.
Crook double takes onto second base, now breaks off a filthy curveball in there for strike 3. Requires a throw from Stupensky. It's on the money. A big second out there for Matt Crook, his first strikeout. Second strikeout, excuse me. He started Peter Alonzo off this inning with 1, but Alonzo reached first base on the wild pitch.
Crook has not allowed anything hard hit. 1-2-3 first inning, and the only single so far coming off the bat of Jolks, a routine 2-hopper to first that got a funky hop off the cut of the infield grass and rolled into foul territory.
Now it's Jason DeLay, the catcher from Vanderbilt. Crook from the stretch will miss outside with the fastball. DeLay this season, a .345 batting average in limited action, though. Of course, coming late from a Commodores team that made a run all the way to the College World Series. But it started off hot, 10 for 29, all 10 of them singles. Crook, a breaking ball in the dirt, smothered by Stupensky, ball 2. Jolks over on second, 2 outs here on the top of the second. Crook trying to stymie this Bourne Braves team with runners in scoring position once again. A look on to second, now to home plate. 2-0 curveball is in there. So not commonplace do you see a pitcher who's trying to rediscover his stuff coming off of Tommy John surgery work backwards. That's exactly what he does to Jason DeLay, and it fooled him. Crook set at the letters, now on to home plate. His fastball misses up and out. His fastball tonight hasn't been as accurate as he would like, missing high and outside on multiple occasions to right-handed batters. But we anticipate one more out, and his evening will be over. He lost DeLay, the 3-1 pitch outside. Now that brings up Camden Duznak to home plate.
The shortstop, number 4, Camden Duznak from Dallas Baptist.
Strikeout and a wild pitch, then a caught stealing from Peter Alonso to start off the second. An infield single and a wild pitch has put Jolks over on second base, and Jason DeLay is now on first after drawing a walk.
A bit surprising given Duznak's diminutive frame, but he actually is tied for second on the Braves with 2 home runs.
Breaking ball, bounce in the dirt, ball 1, a very nice block from Stepensky.
You guys like Dustin Pedroia have power, so it doesn't necessarily correlate with height or size.
A power-hitting shortstop, though. Also, I guess as of recently, not as much, but historically, power-hitting shortstops a little bit more hard to come by than, say, a third baseman, first baseman, or an outfielder. Crook again misses with the fastball. Now Duznak with the advantage, 2-0. Duznak, the batting average, though, leaves a little bit to be desired. 211, but from what we've seen of his defensive skills over at short, he can certainly pick it. Crook set, now to the plate. 3 straight balls to Duznak, the 9-hitter Garzillo on deck. Crook does not want to issue a walk here to Duznak. The bases then would be juiced. After a brief conference atop the mound, Stepensky will trot back to home. We'll see how he approaches Duznak well behind. Crook ready. Now to home plate. Pours in a fastball. Now there's a semblance of life, 3-1.
Crook has not missed up for the most part. Most of his misses have been down and low, and that's an encouraging sign.
Duznak still ahead, 3-1. Now Crook gets closer to evening it as Duznak fouls one back. Payoff pitch awaits. Both runners will be in motion here on the 3-2 count with 2 outs. Of course, meaning that a base hit to the outfield would score the speedy Jolks over on second base quite easily. And a shot to the gap could even score DeLay. A catcher who, by what we've seen, doesn't have plus speed, but running on a 3-2 count with 2 outs, he could score as well. Crook, payoff pitch, a breaking ball misses inside, and he's low to the bases with 2 straight walks.
Still hasn't given up anything hard hit, via a hit or an out, so the approach here is most likely with a 9-hitter Garzillo at the plate. Just throw a strike and take your chances.
Garzillo, 233 on the season, 17 hits, 73 at-bats. Shoots one foul and out of play. 3 doubles, 1 home run. So a total of 4 extra base hits for the second baseman from Lehigh. Crook able to get ahead of Garzillo. We'll see if he can put him away. 0-1 pitch is fouled back, and now quickly 0-2. Crook has 2 strikeouts in this inning, so now looking to retire the side via the strikeout with the bases loaded. Crook from the stretch, his 0-2 pitch. A breaking ball bounced into home plate. Stupensky, like a cat, is on it.
We have a nickname for Stupensky yet? You described him like a cat, so just trying to. Big cat is kind of played out, but
yeah,
something that occurs naturally, I think, would be a.
I think something that plays off of Stupensky. I don't want to say stupendous Stupensky or stupid good Stupensky.
Yeah, probably nothing with stupid.
1-2 pitch, a curveball on the outside corner, strike 3. Matt Crook strikes out the side here in the second inning, even though he allowed the bases loaded thanks to 2 walks. But we're still scoreless as we head to the bottom of the second. 4, 5, and 6 due up for the Gatemen. Welcome back to Spillane Field here on a Sunday evening. You can see behind the on-deck batter, Mike Regan, and a few assistants over there assisting and taking down some banners that were left up for the Cape Cod All-Star game that took place at Spillane last night. Looking around Spillane Field, it's quite a different atmosphere than what we experienced. 5,000 fans on hand last night. This place was pretty much packed to the brim. Parking lots filled. A few spots open over in left field. But down the first base and third base side, the stands completely packed, and even the bleachers over here off to the left-hand side from our vantage point of home plate, the bleachers for the Scouts were left. So some remnants of a very good atmosphere from last night.
You don't think there are 5,000 people here tonight?
My best guess would say probably not.
Okay, maybe a tenth of that, 500, is that?
I'd say the official attendance will probably be clocked in at more than 500.
Okay.
Maybe around 867 if I were to take a wild guess.
Okay. I don't think it will be an odd number, just a hunch.
It's been an odd number before, I can tell you that. 725 at Brewster last night, or 2 nights ago. 963 last time at Spillane. 1,200, or rather 1,029, so actually odd numbers aplenty.
That's bizarre.
McKinnon, Sierry, and then Kisner here to oppose Sedlock in the bottom of the second. McKinnon takes a fastball in there for strike 1, and as is so commonplace with his at-bats, turns around and asks the home plate umpire if that's as far as he'll push his strike zone. And now he's questioning once again and motioning where that was on the outside corner of the plate. He's not getting anywhere, though. 0-2 quickly.
Better be swinging here on 0-2 after that.
Sedlock from the windup, now to home plate. There he misses a bit outside. McKinnon doesn't question that time.
Sticking to his guns.
McKinnon a 266 average, an all-star infield reserve in last night's game. Pretty good slider there from Cody Sedlock, but a good take from McKinnon. McKinnon really a feel-good story, a local boy growing up in the Cape, attending Hartford University. Got off to a scorching start of the season. His batting average, even on July 3rd, was 350 plus. Since then, it's tapered off a bit, but still with a respectable 266. Goes down on strikes to start off the bottom of the second. First strikeout for Cody Sedlock, and now that brings Nick Sierry, another all-star, to the home plate.
One of the few players, period, who got a base hit last night.
It was vintage Nick Sierry, too.
Yep.
Worked the count full, then went opposite field, dumped one in front of the left fielder. Swing and a miss here on an outside fastball, 0-1. Talked to him before the game, and he said it helped alleviate any nerves that he may have had, knowing that Blake Fox would be on the mound to start things off, and that he'd get the honor of catching Evan Hill and Ian Hamilton later in the game. Bouncing ball up the middle, Duznak on a dive, his throw onto first, dug out by Brendan McKay. The shortstop first base duo robs Nick Sierry of the first hit for the Gatemen. Now 2 outs.
That's quite the play, and quite perceptive by Duznak. He knew that Sierry was at the plate. He knew he had time to make that no-look throw. Sierry getting down the line a little bit more slowly than your average base runner, so Duznak with an on-target throw, scooped up by McKay. Very nice play.
As the Bourne broadcasters would call it, that's Duznak being Duz nasty. Now it's Kisner, rifled into left field. Corey Jokes makes a fantastic catch. 2 straight stellar defensive plays for the Bourne Braves in the second inning. First Duznak, and then there it's the third baseman, Corey Jokes. The Gatemen still hitless, and we're still scoreless as we head to the third inning on the Cape Cod Baseball League Network. As we anticipated, the evening and outing of Matt Crook is in the books. He gives way to Grant Dyer, a stellar relief pitcher from UCLA. Final line on Crook, 2 innings pitched, 1 hit, 2 walks, and 3 strikeouts, all coming in that second inning after he had loaded the bases. 46 pitches, 25 strikes, and he gives way to a guy in Grant Dyer who, yes, was a relief pitcher at UCLA, but has proven more than capable this season that he can go long relief for the Gatemen.
Yeah, the ERA down to 1.56 after one of the most impressive outings of the year, not just for him, but for anyone that we've seen in person. 6 innings pitched, 2 hits allowed, and 10 strikeouts against Falmouth back on the 21st.
Had a 1.0 ERA at UCLA a season ago. Now for the Gatemen at 1.56. It's the top of the order for the Bourne Braves, Solak, Bolt, and then McKay. Solak popped out to Preston Grand Prix to start off this game. And here Dyer evens the count with the fastball on the inside corner. Had a similar situation last time Matt Crook took the mound. He went his typical 2 innings, 4 strikeouts against Falmouth. Then it was Zach Houston who came in the game, walked the batter, threw 2 balls to the next batter he saw. An injury forced him to leave the game, and then ultimately the team for the Gatemen as he was released the night later. But after that, the Grant Dyer show. He came on, fired 6 innings, only allowed 2 hits, and like you mentioned, those 10 strikeouts. Into center field, given a charge. Kalika ranges back. He puts it away for out number 1. Some good contact, but ultimately an out in the scorebook.
It's a home run in YD.
That is a home run in YD, but here at Spillane, the 412 center field fence keeps it enclosed within the ballpark.
What do you think? Do you think the players like playing in a large dimension like this? I know the fielders and the pitchers do, but if you're batting, do you think that it's a good thing that you're playing on major league dimensions?
Kind of split on that. I think they don't mind playing on big fields. They don't love it, but I don't think they mind it as much as a super small field. With that being said, I'm sure it's always a treat for these hitters to go to YD, but it could get annoying if YD players start to get cheapo home runs.
Orleans Firebirds, far and away the best team in the Cape League this year, are also leading in home runs, but I think that's not very fluky at all. They've got a lot of talent on that roster.
No, it's not, yeah. Orleans, of course, has already clinched a playoff spot, the 27-10 record. Now they're looking to wrap up the first seed in the East. Well on their way to doing that. I believe if both Brewster and Chatham lose tonight, then that will be the situation in which Orleans finds themselves. The left-handed hitter Bolt into center field again for Kalika. Step back, now a few steps in. Camps underneath out number 2.
Kalika was the starter last night in the All-Star game and performed capably, then was subbed out for Bolt. So the 2 All-Star center fielders have an interaction here.
First 2 guys in the order now 0 for 2, Solek and Bolt. Dyer trying to make a third member of that group 0 for 2 and Brendan McKay. Starts him off with the first pitch, breaking ball, missing low, ball 1. McKay shattered his bat against Matt Crook back in the first inning. Little nub shot back to the mound. So he's 0 for 1. Dyer from the windup, now into home plate, strike 2, a great fastball. Dyer shakes off Stupensky, looking for a 1-2-3 inning, breaking ball bounce in the dirt. McKay a hit in all 6 of his starts this season. Batting average above 300 for the Bourne Braves. Twos across the board. Dyer into the plate. Strike three, fastball. McKay down swinging, and Dyer delivers a 1-2-3 third inning. Bottom of the third, 7, 8, and 9 for the Gatemen, and we're scoreless on the Cape Cod Baseball League Network and WCTV. For the Gatemen in the bottom of the third, it's Jay Jabs, Logan Sowers, and then Preston Grand Prix, Jake Garcia, Eric Bramer. And now we send it out to Megan O'Brien, who has a little bit more on the home run derby last night, and specifically about Logan Sowers.
That's right, Jake. Logan Sowers, yesterday the home run champion. I talked to him earlier today, and he said, Megan, I was either going to hit none out or I was going to win it all. And Teddy Regan, the coach for the Gatemen, threw out for him tonight, and he told me that after the game and after Logan won it, everybody was asking him if they were related. They, in fact, are not related, but he could have fooled me yesterday when the chemistry they had, and Logan Sowers had 6 home runs, which is the most out of any Cape Leaguer, and what an honor. Coach Cooper Ferris said that he hopes it's going to motivate his team today and get Logan Sowers' bat going in the game. Back to you guys.
Thank you, Megan. We'll first watch Jay Jabs hit through the hole on the right side and into right field for a base hit. First one of the game off Cody Sedlock, and Jabs is aboard to start off the bottom of the third.
Be great if the Gatemen could get Jabs going for the playoff run. He was so good. In fact, he was carrying this offense for the first couple weeks of the season. He's cooled off considerably, but the potential is there for him to not only get base hits, but also hit the ball out of the ballpark.
And now right on cue, it's Logan Sowers into the right-hander's box. Sedlock now operating out of the stretch and into home plate, a fastball for strike one. So often you hear people talk about the MLB home run derby and how there's a correlation between players participating in it and having second half slumps. I think it's just more natural that numbers taper off in the second half, whether or not you participate in the home run derby. But maybe for Sowers, it will jumpstart things.
Unfortunately for him, Cody Sedlock doesn't throw 70 miles per hour belt high in the inner half.
That's an accurate assessment, I'd say. Sowers at 182 does have a very modest 3-game hitting streak. There are signs of life at the plate in that 3-gamer. He has walked 3 times. So seeing the ball perhaps a little bit better. Bouncing ball up the middle, it could be 2. Dusnak touches second and on to first, a 6-3 double play, immediately wiping off Jay Jabs, the base paths.
The shortstop, number 12, Preston Grand Prix from Cal Berkeley.
A 6-3 double play, now 2 quick outs. Cody Sedlock, the one time he's had to work out of the stretch on 3 pitches, he's now out of it. The 9-hitter now, Preston Grand Prix, a 186 average. That has climbed a little bit as of recent, but gets fooled on a first pitch breaking ball well out in front and comes up empty.
Grand Prix plays with a little fire, a little bit of swag that has rubbed some opponents the wrong way in the past couple games, but nothing wrong with that when the team's winning. It's just when it's losing.
And Sedlock may have latched onto a possible weakness. He's made Grand Prix look pretty silly with 2 straight breaking balls. The 0-2 with 2 outs. Another breaking ball. This time Grand Prix will lay off. Yeah, Grand Prix against Brewster applied a tag a little bit too long on Nick Senzel when he slid into second base, and then the two of them got in a bit of an altercation when Grand Prix was over at third. Here he ropes one into the right field gap and down. It's going for extra bases. Grand Prix into second. He'll be content and pull up right there. Preston Grand Prix with 2 outs in the bottom of the third inning has his second double of the season.
Encouraging to get Grand Prix on base, encouraging that it's a double, but perhaps most encouraging, driving the ball to the opposite field. That's an ability that Grand Prix is going to have if he's going to succeed at the next level, because I don't think he has the power to just pull the ball all the time.
Now, it was a mistake on my part, but was that last pitch there a breaking ball from Sedlock, or did he come with hard stuff in a fastball?
I didn't see any lateral movement on it, and it's tough from right behind home plate to judge it unless the batter swings and misses. Then you can usually tell if they were early or late on it. So we'll have to try and take a look at the rebroadcast when we're watching this after the fact and try and identify it.
Sedlock had thrown 2 curveballs in a row to Grand Prix, and then I believe, if my memory serves me correctly and if I was paying attention enough, then came in with a fastball. And Grand Prix, his bat speed was fastball throughout the course of the at-bat, and he roped a double because of it.
As much as we rag on Katuitt, it's most of it good-natured. They do provide the radar, the miles per hour.
The 1-0, broken bat, chopped over to Duznak, throw on the run, in time to get the speedy Kalika. A bizarre day for Kalika. He's now 0 for 2, and he strands Grand Prix in scoring position on second base. Heading to the 4th inning, we're still scoreless on the Cape Cod Baseball League Network and WCTV. It's become commonplace to say no pups allowed at Dorn Park, but as we saw there in our commercial break, pups absolutely welcome at Spillane Field. So I said 867 in attendance earlier. Make that 868.
As long as they buy 50-50 raffle tickets. If they're not going to contribute to the income for the Wareham Gatemen, you know, there's no sense in inviting dogs in. I don't know. That's the cynical side of me. But
there was also in that shot a baby on the back of his dad. What about them? Are they considered attendance?
They're future fans.
Okay.
Got to start them young. So, yes, absolutely those count.
Good to know that even though they can't purchase 50-50 raffles, they're still considered humans and not treated as second-class citizens. It's 4, 5, and 6 for the Bourne Braves in the top of the 4th inning. Peter Alonso ropes one out to center field and deep. Kalika back at near the wall, and he makes the running catch. I was about to say at the track, but I don't think there's a track out there. Actually, I know there's not a track out there in left center field, but a nice running catch from Kalika to start off the 4th.
We've been fooled before because I think the center field and left center field gap, power alley, is a lot deeper than it looks from here, but I think that one was pretty close to the wall. The only warning track is down the right field line for about, say, 100 feet until we hit the American flag pole in right center, then it stops.
Got a great shot of it earlier when Kalika, after he made the catch, we saw the cutoff of where the warning track ends around center field. Corey Jolks takes a fastball for a strike and takes another pitch, 1-1. Jolks, a 266 average, comes into this game on a 5-game hitting streak, now extended to 6 games after he got a funky infield single in the 2nd. So make that 2 7-game hitting streaks for Corey Jolks this season, a 5-game hitting streak, and now a 6-game hitting streak. Bouncing ball over to Kisner at 3rd. Throw across the diamond in time for out number 2.
Well, this has been a very quiet game so far for both sides offensively. 2 hits for the Gatemen. They came both in the last inning, and only 1 hit for the Braves, and that was an infield single. A fluky infield single at that.
Dyer trying to go 1-2-3 for the 2nd straight inning. Now the 6-hitter Reed Humphreys goes opposite field, well hit, jabs charging back at the wall, leaps up, he will not get it. Reed Humphreys goes oppo taco on Grant Dyer, and now the Bourne Braves are on the board with a 1-0 lead.
It just shows the raw power of Reed Humphreys. We've seen now in the hottest days of the year, the ball traveling a little bit better at Spillane Field, especially to the opposite field. Last night in the All-Star game, there was almost an opposite field home run, but Reed Humphreys getting all of that one, and I think it went over the fence by at least 10 feet as well. Not a wall shaver either.
Grant Dyer allowed a home run against Orleans, his lone earned run of that outing. That's the first home run he's allowed since then. Proceeds to go right back to his nasty ways, and he gets delay on a swinging strike. So 1-0 Bourne on 1 swing of the bat from Reed Humphreys. Came with the bases empty, though, so a solo blast with 2 outs. Quickly 0-2 as Dyer breaks off a curveball. Delay empty.
I think that also shows Dyer's approach. He knows that usually you're not going to hit an opposite field home run here at Spillane Field, so you might as well throw those up and away pitches as often as you can.
Yeah, it wasn't a poor pitch either, not
No.
like a hanging breaking ball. It was a fastball, I believe, on the outside corner, just a better piece of hitting from Reed Humphreys. 0-2, 2 strikes, high and tight, some chin music, and DeLay gets plunked in the helmet. Kind of a scary moment there, but he looks to be completely okay. He'll trot on down to first, gladly accepting a base runner with 2 outs.
Per protocol, I think he'll be checked. Yep, here comes the training staff for the Braves. And Nate with the Gatemen is waiting close by should she need any more assistance.
Didn't come into play in that sequence right there, but the Cape League and college baseball in general employs the helmets with 2 ear flaps, as opposed to Major League Baseball, which only has one on the front ear to protect that. They reason that hitters aren't going to be turning the other way should a pitch come high and tight. And, of course, DeLay naturally turned his body in, so even with 1 ear flap, he wouldn't have been impacted.
Literally impacted.
The shortstop, number 4, Camden.
So after Humphreys goes yard in the 4th, Dyer gets DeLay in an 0-2 count and then hits him. So a base runner now for the 8-hitter, Camden Duznak. DeLay has still not recorded an at-bat. Both times he's come to the plate. A plate appearance, a walk and a hit by pitch. Dyer from the stretch bounces a breaking ball. Stupensky on a hop, and he's able to locate. (1-0) Braves. Dyer trying to keep it that way as we go to the bottom of the 4th. Misses a little bit upstairs, 2-0. Dyer behind. Here's his 2-0 pitch. Fastball with some sink, now 3-0. So Dyer got 2 quick outs in the 4th inning, a flyout and a ground out. And then Humphreys a home run, DeLay a hit by pitch. Now in danger of losing Duznak. Instead, paints the out inside corner, a fastball for a strike. Dyer's set at the letters, now into home plate. Just misses there. Ball 4 for Duznak. Now 2 runners aboard.
Dyer not used to having to pitch out of the stretch for that home run. Looks to be a little bit rattled, but with one more good pitch, he can get out of this jam.
Would prefer to do so against the bottom portion of the order. Garzillo now the 9-hitter. Should he reach, will flip things over to the top. Garzillo 0 for 1, a strikeout looking in the 2nd. Takes on the inside corner for strike 1. Dyer a look on to second, now into the plate, in on the fists and fouled straight back. So quickly ahead of Garzillo 0-2. The 0-2 pitch awaits to the 9-hitter. Fastball on the outside corner. Not budging. The home plate umpire not extending the zone a little bit there for Dyer. The count's 1-2. One-two from Dyer, lifted and fouled straight back over the third base bleachers. (1-0) Bourne, the 1 run coming on a home run from Reed Humphreys. hanging curveball rocketed down the third baseline and a fair ball. Delay in to score easily. Duznak waved to the plate. Grand Prix has trouble with the throw. Here's his throw into home plate. Not in time. Duznak slides in safely. A 2-out, 2 RBI double for Mike Garzillo. And now a 3-0 lead for the Braves.
Things were going along so smoothly for Grant Dyer. He retired the first men in his outing, first 5 men. But then a home run, a hit by pitch, a walk, and now a bases clearing double. Score now 3-0.
Dyer had been perfect to the first 5 batters he faced. Then Humphreys home run, Delay a hit by pitch, Duznak a walk, and then Garzillo goes for extra bases. Like I said, the score 3-0. Nick Solak takes ball 1. That's really been a theme of the season for Solak. Taking a lot of close pitches and getting rewarded for a stellar eye at home plate. 22 walks this season. Tied for second in the Cape League, second only to Kevin Biggio. 1-0 pitch down the third baseline and a fair ball. Garzillo rounds third. He's into the plate easily. Solak into second base, and the throw is an accurate one. He is tagged out. That ends the inning, but not before 4 runs cross the plate. The latest, Mike Garzillo on an RBI single from Nick Solak. Bottom of the 4th, and now 4-0 Bourne over the Wareham Gatemen. Sun setting at Spillane Field makes for a feel-good atmosphere. But unfortunately for the Wareham Gatemen, they coughed up 4 runs in the top half of the 4th inning.
All happened pretty quickly, too.
Yes, it did.
First 2 outs came easily enough, a fly out to center and a grounder to third, but then home run, hit by pitch, walk, double, then a single down the line.
The Gatemen, prior to that inning, had been outscoring the entire Western Division by a plus 27 mark. That includes a plus 10 advantage over the Braves. Of course, 3-0 and 1 tie against this team from Bourne. But in the 4th inning, the Braves out to a 4-0 lead. Kramer Robertson, Gavin Stupensky, David McKinnon set to be due up here in the bottom of the 4th. Cody Sedlock still on the mound, entering his 4th inning of work. First pitch breaking ball to Robertson, taken for strike 1. Don't want to speculate on the future of Kramer Robertson's playing time because that's not my job. But worth noting that the Gatemen activated and signed another second baseman in Jose Carrera. Another fantastic play from Jolks at third. His throw across the diamond, not in time. Jolks with the stab over at third base, trying for his second web gem play of the game, but an infield single for Robertson to start off the bottom of the 4th.
That's one thing that Kramer Robertson can bring to the team. That's the ability to put the ball in play and then see what happens. Not a whole lot of extra base power, or at least not so far this year. He has gotten on base at a decent clip, and even when he doesn't hit the ball hard, like in that one, he has the speed to beat out some infield base hits.
And to finish my thought, the guy the Gatemen just activated, Jose Carrera, actually profiles quite a bit similar to Kramer Robertson. Stupensky swinging at the first pitch, lifted down the third base line. 2 guys converging, rather 3, and it drops between all 3 of them, Solak, Duznak, and Jolks. Carrera, though, 5'6", 145 pounds, successfully stole 15 bases in 16 attempts this past season for the Manhattan Jaspers.
A little bit under the radar, but a late season pickup. Even if he's nothing more than a pinch running threat, I think he could provide some value to this team. If you have roster spots, there's no reason not to put them on.
Carrera was playing summer ball in Virginia and was tearing that league up, 350. So now he gets promoted to the Cape. Sedlock's 0-1, misses high and outside. Now it's 1-1. Stupensky flew out to Solak to end the bottom of the 1st inning, so he's 0 for 1. 1-1 from Cody Sedlock. Now 2-1. Stupensky, the no batting gloves approach in the left-handed batter's box. Hits from a bit of a crouch, but still maintains a ton of pop. 2-1, a good hack, but fouled straight back. Gatemen trying to answer the 4 runs put on the board in the top half of the 4th inning from the Bourne Braves. They took one step in the right direction as Kramer Robertson's now on first base to start off this bottom of the 4th. Sedlock out of the stretch, devastating breaking ball, but a good take there from Stupensky. Full count, McKinnon the cleanup man on deck.
Gateman down by 4, probably won't send anyone in motion. But Robertson is one of those guys who can swipe a bag here and there.
Sedlock's payoff pitch, bouncing ball through the right side of the infield and into right for a base hit. Robertson, no hesitation, pulls up quite easily into third base. Stupensky's now 1 for 2. Now 2 aboard for McKinnon.
And sure enough, they did send Robertson, probably just because it was a 3-2 count, and they feel pretty good about the chances of Stupensky putting the ball in play. But it pays off, and now runs at the corners with nobody out for McKinnon, who has a chance to cut into this deficit with one swing of the bat.
McKinnon will enter this at-bat with a chip on his shoulder. One thing that he's vocalized to us numerous times is his utter despise for striking out. Told me before the Cape League All-Star game yesterday that that was his only goal. He ended up striking out, struck out in his first at-bat here tonight. So a sour taste in his mouth. He'll look to produce with the runner in scoring position and 2 guys on base. Sedlock comes set now to the plate, fastball, and delay with a nice stab behind home plate. Gatemen now with 4 hits, 3 of them singles, 1 for extra bases from Grand Prix. Robertson and Stupensky both reach this inning via base hits. Sedlock, now the count's 2-1 with the fastball. That's all over the outside corner. Gives a peer over to first base where Stupensky is. Now he'll step off.
People calling for a balk, but nothing by the umpiring crew.
McKinnon trying to produce with the runner in scoring position and Stupensky on first. 12-6 curveball. Doesn't break enough. It misses high, 3-1. Should McKinnon walk or reach base, it'll be the task of Nick Sierra to drive home more. Sedlock set, now to the plate, the 3-1 ground ball up the middle. A diving play from Garzil, glove flip onto second, not handled by Duznak. So a lot happening on that play, but it's an RBI single for David McKinnon. Robertson comes in and crosses home plate. Now it's 4-1. Gatemen cut into the Bourne lead.
What could have been a rally-killing double play is instead an infield single. McKinnon getting off the schneid a little bit. And the train keeps rolling. Still nobody out. Now Sierra at the plate with Kisner on deck. Both guys who, as of late, have hit the ball pretty hard.
Duznak dove, made a fantastic play in the second inning. Jokes followed that up with a diving catch to spear a line drive. Here in the 4th, a little bit different story. The second baseman and Jolks have made fantastic plays as Sierra shows bunt and fouls it back. But on both occasions, those fantastic plays have not resulted in outs.
Not sure how often Sierra's asked to bunt, but we'll see if he gets the call again here on 0-1.
It does make sense. Runners on first and second base. If Sierra can put them both over into scoring position, that would give the plate to Andrew Kisner with an opportunity to drive in 2. Sierra's 0 for 1. Not showing bunt, though, this time, and he takes ball 1 high. Three straight singles for the Gatemen in the bottom of the 4th inning. So those 4 runs allowed by Dyer in the top half of the 4th have sparked a bit of a fire in the offense. Here's Sedlock's 1-1. Fastball blown past Sierra. Now the count goes to 1-2.
I've said this for the entire season now. I'd like to see what happens if or when Sierra can get around on a high fastball like that and pull it and in the air to right field, because I get the sense that it would go a long, long way.
Sedlock 1-2. Fastball, and Sierra comes up empty. So an unproductive at-bat for the DH tonight. And one out for Cody Sedlock, make that strikeout number 2.
Now Andrew Kisner will try and keep the inning going. Not a sacrifice situation anymore, so he'll be swinging away trying to hit a gapper.
Yeah, if Sierra wasn't bunting with no outs, then Kisner is obviously not going to be bunting with 1, and the runners both staying put. Sedlock winds and delivers this ball rifled into right field. It's in for a base hit. Stupensky will be held at third base, and probably a wise idea. But Kisner has now hit the ball hard twice on both occasions to the plate. Now the base is juice for Jabs.
Jabs had the first hit of the game for the Gatemen back in the 3rd inning. Single bounce through the right side, and if he can do that again, he'll score 2 runs. Jabs has the only grand slam for the Gatemen this year. That came very early on.
That's what I'm trying to find.
In, I believe, the 2nd week of the season.
Against Harwich, his 2nd at-bat. Here he takes a first pitch breaking ball in there for strike 1.
So that was the first Friday or Saturday of the season, I believe.
Yep. A big swing of the bat and a very big inning back on June 13th. But now we're in the present. He has the bases loaded with 1 out against Sedlock. Coming into this game, Jabs 1 for his last 14, so his average had dipped to 174. But a single in the 3rd inning will certainly aid his batting average cause. Something here could help him in the RBI department as well. Here's the 1-1 from Sedlock. Fastball on the inside corner, a great one. So now Jabs behind 1-2. We'll see if he can put together a productive at-bat. The 1-2 pitch from Sedlock bounced in the dirt.
Sedlock does not want this count to go full because that'll give everyone an opportunity to leave early, even with 1 out. And should Jabs get a base hit with the count full, that could very well clear the bases.
Gatemen trying to cut the deficit further. Bouncing ball over to Garzillo at second. On to second for 1. Duznak his throw on to first in time. Jabs bounces out into a 4-6-3 double play to end the bases loaded threat in the 4th inning. The Gatemen get 4 singles and 3 base runners are left stranded. 1 run crosses the plate, now 4-1 Bourne on the Cape Cod Baseball League Network. Through 4 complete, it's 4-1 Bourne over the Gatemen. New pitcher into the game for Wareham. It's the right-hander from Maryland, Jared Price. So Dyer comes in and looks very good for the first 5 batters he faces. And then things a little bit blown up from there. He allows 4 runs in the bottom of the 4th inning. Now Price on, and Price coming after a day's rest, not a game's rest though. Took the mound against Brewster last time out, fired 2 innings, allowed 2 hits, lowered his ERA from 5.4 to 4.36.
Yeah, the ERA was above 12 when he first came with the Gatemen. He played for Falmouth to start out the year, and he has been very, very good with the Gatemen. Not really getting a whole lot of swings and misses, but getting outs, and especially in areas where the Gatemen need outs.
Making his 9th appearance of the season, or rather 9th appearance for the Wareham Gatemen. 10.1 innings of work, 4 walks, 14 hits, and 12 strikeouts. What the department that Price had been struggling in was allowing inherited runners to score. He hadn't stranded very many of them. In fact, going into the game against Brewster was 1 for 7 in stranding inherited runners. But he successfully stranded 1 of 2, I believe, in that game. So make that 2 of 9 now on the season for Price. But here he comes into a bases empty situation. Bolt, McKay, and Alonso, the 2, 3, and 4 hitters. On the outside corner, strike 1. Probably a lefty strike, though. I don't think Ryan Bolt agreed with that one.
Facing a fellow Big Ten guy in Bolt. Bolt out of Nebraska and Price out of Maryland. In different divisions of the Big Ten. So I don't believe Nebraska and Maryland played each other this year.
But closed on Grant Dyer. 2 innings pitched, 4 runs, all of them earned. 3 hits, a walk, and a strikeout. This Bourne team taxed him for 35 pitches, 21 of which were strikes. 1-1 into Bolt. Good swing, but he fouls it back and out of play. The Gatemen really look poised to cut even more into this Bourne lead in their bottom of the 4th inning. 1 run scored on an RBI single from David McKinnon. But then with the bases loaded and only 1 out, it was Jay Jabs who bounced into an inning-ending double play. As we stand now, Bourne 4, Wareham 1, and a 2-2 count to Ryan Bolt, who's 0 for 2. Breaking ball, good take there from Bolt. The count runs full. Even though Bolt's 0 for 2 in this game, prior to that, he had been sizzling at the plate. 7 for his last 10. So to make him go 0 for 3 against the Wareham pitching would definitely be an accomplishment. Payoff pitch, and fouled again straight back. McKay awaits the 3-hitter on deck.
Bolt has a little bit of pop, or at least he's shown some in the Big Ten season, but it's been mainly a gap-to-gap guy here in the Cape.
Off the brick building, sharply hit, and thankfully no one was standing in the way of that baseball.
Bolt second only to Jacob Robson on the Braves with 8 doubles. 1 triple and no home runs.
3-2 payoff pitch from Price, fouled into the mid of Stupensky and then out.
Stupensky slapping his mitt in frustration. He thought he was close to catching that one.
Another payoff pitch awaits. McKay's the guy on deck. Price with his efforts concentrated on Solak. Opposite field where Sowers is awaiting. Routine for him. And 1 out in the top of the 5th.
The first baseman, number 18, Brendan McKay from Louisville.
Been pumping Brendan McKay up from the start of this broadcast, but he hit a ball weakly back to the mound in the first inning against Crook and then struck out swinging against Grant Dyer in the 3rd.
That just means he's due.
Big swing and a miss there for strike 1. McKay at 308. As of now, that'll go down a few hairs. With nobody on, Price operating out of the stretch into the plate, and McKay bounces 1 foul. Price nods in agreement with Stupensky. 3-2 pitch, breaking ball on the inside corner, strike 3. McKay down on strikes for the 2nd time, now 0 for 3, and 2 quick outs in the 5th.
Hey, you say this is one of the best hitters in the nation, and he's 0 for 3 tonight? It's almost like small sample sizes don't mean a whole lot.
I know. I think this sample size is pretty indicative of McKay's overall ability. Now it's Peter Alonso, the cleanup man. reached base in the second on a strikeout and a wild pitch, was caught stealing second base, and then gave one a ride out to center field in the fourth, but Andrew Kalika was able to track it down. It's been the bottom of the order for Bourne that has really punished this Gatemen pitching staff. Here Alonso up the middle and into center field, a base hit. A two-out variety base hit for Peter Alonso, and that's exactly how the Bourne Braves got 4 runs in the fourth inning. 2 quick outs, and then the damage hit.
Corey Julks has one of the 5 hits for the Braves today. He steps in. He got as far as third base back in the second inning. Then Matt Crook left the bases full.
Price set now to home plate. Swing and a miss from Julks, but it gets past Stepensky all the way to the chain link fence, so an easy take of second base for Alonso. Five hits, 4 runs for the Bourne Braves. 6 hits, 1 run for the Wareham Gatemen. Price is 0-1 to Julks, induces another swing and a miss, and now the count quickly 0-2. Julks singled and then was stranded on second in the second. Bounced out to Kisner back in the fourth. Price will step off and give Alonso a look over at second. The 0-2 pitch to Corey Julks. Fastball misses outside.
Alonso, the designated hitter at second, not a whole lot of foot speed, but with 2 down, he'd be off on contact, probably would score on a base hit.
1-2 pitch, fastball, got him swinging. Price allows a single, but strikes out 2 on the top of the 5th. 1 runner stranded, no runs cross the plate. Bottom of the 5th, 8-9, then 1 for the Gatemen, down by 3 runs. Sowers Grand Prix Kalika due up for the Gatemen in the bottom of the 5th. Comes an inning and a half after all the action occurred. Rather a half inning. 4 runs for the Bourne Braves in the top of the 4th. 1 for the Gatemen in the bottom. The pitcher on the mound still Cody Sedlock. Should have anticipated a bounce-back performance from Sedlock. Before his last outing, had only allowed 1 earned run on every single occasion. So his ERA was sub-2 in that span. But after Brewster pestered him for 4 runs and 4.2, it was elevated a bit. Still, though, 1 bad outing doesn't detract from what's been a great season for the right-hander from Illinois. Now facing a guy from Indiana in Logan Sowers. Bounced out into a double play in the 3rd. Off the mask of the catcher delay, 1-1. Mentioned how Sowers may be showing glimpses of turning things around. The strikeouts still a little bit too high. Swings and misses there. Now the count 1-2.
That's something that Cooper Ferris reminded us of today, and something that we tend to forget about guys here in the Cape League is that Sowers is a year younger than a lot of the players out here, and he's going through growing pains.
Ball bounced delay off his chest protector, and it ricochets all the way to the Braves dugout.
Sowers is a 1996 birthday, the only one on the Gatemen roster.
Breaking curveball doesn't break enough. The count runs full.
Preston Grand Prix just turned 19 years old. I beg your pardon, he just turned 20 on the 15th of July. And
payoff pitch to Sowers. It misses high, and a great take from the 8-hitter. Make that 4 walks in his last 4 starts.
Sowers still 19. It's weird to think that guys like Harmon Killebrew in the 1950s, the bonus baby era, were playing Major League Baseball at ages like that.
Well, don't forget about Bryce Harper, who did just that. But yeah, it was a lot more commonplace back then than it is now. Grand Prix hit an opposite field double in the third inning, so he checks in 1 for 1. Swinging at the first pitch, lifting it high, back, and out of play.
This is my understanding of the bonus baby era, and I could very well be wrong, but I believe if you were a highly touted prospect and you signed for a lot of money as a way to de-incentivize, if that's a word, the teams from signing those, they had to use their prospects the first 2 years in the big leagues before sending them down to the minors for development.
I've never heard that before. That's really interesting, though.
A bizarre system. It obviously worked. It caused teams to think twice before signing those big contracts.
0-2 to Grand Prix after he showed bunt.
But guys like Harmon Killebrew, and I use Killebrew as an example because I know the most about him, but he played 2 full years with the Washington Senators in the big leagues, then I believe went down to the minor leagues for some more seasoning once he could.
1-2 pitch to Grand Prix on the outside corner. The back pick on to first in time. Sowers picked off by delay after he extended his secondary a little bit too far. And now after getting a runner on board to start the 5th inning, it's immediately erased.
You don't want to see that happen. Sowers taking a normal secondary lead, and I don't think he was necessarily late getting back to the bag. It was just a very nice throw by delay, right on target.
2-2 pitch to Grand Prix, breaking ball. He thought it probably was going to be strike 3. Did a little dance, and I think he thought that he had been caught looking.
Literally a knee buckling breaking pitch, because I think I saw his knees shake a little bit.
Well, Sedlock threw 2 first pitch breaking balls, or 2 breaking balls on the first 2 pitches of the at-bat that made Grand Prix look pretty silly when he came up empty. Then came in with a fastball, and Grand Prix roped a double. And here, surprisingly, comes back with the fastball on the payoff pitch, and Grand Prix was on it. If I'm Cody Sedlock right now, and this isn't a knock on Grand Prix, just something that we've seen this game, I'm curveball, 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 and nothing else. But that's why I'm here and he's there. The payoff pitch to Grand Prix on the outside corner. I think it was a fastball. Strike 3 got him looking.
Whatever it was, it fooled Grand Prix, and he was thinking the opposite. So now, 2 down with nobody on. Quite the momentum shift after the leadoff walk to Sowers.
Center fielder number 20, Andrew Kalika.
Kalika into the left-hander's box, looking to reach for the first time. Not too often can we say that about the Gatemen leadoff man. 15 for his last 23, 5 multi-hit games in a row coming into this one. On the first pitch from Sedlock, but fouled straight back. The 0-1 pitch. Good breaking ball, but a little bit too good as it was in and then out of the zone. 1-1's our count with 2 outs in the bottom of the 5th. Sedlock winds and delivers and pelts Grand Prix in the abdomen region, but he flips his bat. He'll take it. He's on first with 2 outs.
That counts as a plate appearance, too, so he's that much closer to qualifying for the batting championship.
We've said this before, but we'll say it again. If Kalika continues to receive starts in center field now to the end of the regular season, and if the Gatemen don't get no hit, that's all they have to do, he will be in line to qualify for the batting title.
It's not on the stat sheet that we're given, but I think looking at point streak a couple days ago, Kalika's been hit by pitches more often than the usual batter.
Robertson up the middle and into center field. Robertson now with his second hit of the game. He's 2 for 3, and 2 runners aboard for Stupensky.
And what would the complexion of this inning be like if Sowers was not picked off just a couple minutes ago?
It would be an inning that looked very much like the bottom of the 4th. And the Gatemen got bases loaded with 1 out, and then they immediately withered away in that circumstance. Mountain Conference here. It's tough to believe the day of Cody Sedlock will be over, but there is a right-handed arm warming up in the Braves bullpen.
My advice to you.
I'm sure they'll try and get him through 5, get him at least qualified for the win should the Braves hang on to this lead.
Sedlock vying for win number 2 on the season, trying to push himself above 500. Now it's Stupensky, who's 1 for 2, singled in the 4th and then was stranded on 3rd. Sedlock is set at the letters, now into home plate, off-speed pitch on the outside corner. Gatemen trying to cut into this 3-run deficit. 0-1 misses outside, and the count evened up at 1. Kalika on second, Robertson over at first base. Kalika reached after being hit by a pitch. Robertson stroked a single up the middle. Shortstop vacates. Now Sedlock into home plate. Foul ball left side. Now 1-2. Stupensky's been good with 2 strikes this season. In limited action with the Gatemen, he has not recorded a strikeout through what is now 18 at-bats. Sedlock into home plate, breaking ball in on the fists and back to the mound. Sedlock has trouble with it, and he boots it. Stupensky reaches on the air, and both runners advance 90 feet. Base is now loaded for McKinnon.
Looked like Sedlock's front foot slipped a little bit on the grass and unable to come up with that one. So, yeah, the inning still stays alive. Now McKinnon, who has driven in the only run of the game for the Gatemen so far this game, comes to the plate.
So the Gatemen get a gift in the bottom of the 5th inning. Cody Sedlock unable to field his position and help his own cause out. Stupensky now on first, Robertson on second, and it's Kalika on third. Dave McKinnon now will dig into the right-hander's box. 1 for 2, like Eric mentioned. An RBI single in the 4th inning. Sedlock with 2 outs. First pitch, McKinnon will come up empty. Gatemen looking for a clutch 2-out RBI from their cleanup man. The 0-1 pitch, ground ball up the middle. This time, Sedlock is successful. He spears it, and out number 3 in the 5th. The Gatemen leave the bases loaded one more time here in the 5th inning. 4-1 Braves. Gatemen leave them loaded in the bottom of the 5th inning. On to the 6th we go, 4-1 Braves. And now we'll welcome back Megan O'Brien, who has a little bit more on Kramer Robertson.
Thanks, Jake. Kramer Robertson, 2 hits tonight, and we have seen kind of a dead bat from Robertson as of late. We had that offensive production at the beginning, and we talked to manager Cooper Ferris today. He said Kramer's coming into his own, and, you know, his dad is in attendance today. Robertson, as we've mentioned before, comes from a very athletic family, and he said that maybe his dad will put some fire underneath his bat and get his bat going. Tonight, as I mentioned, 2 hits for Robertson, and look for the hits to continue if the Gatemen want to win this game. Back to you guys.
Thank you, Megan. So dad in town and bat heats up. It's a correlation that probably isn't specific to only Kramer Robertson when family comes into town. I think aside from David McKinnon, it's a treat and something you don't see every day.
Only because McKinnon has family pretty much at every single game, it's become commonplace.
So through 5 complete, 4-1 Braves, now 6, 7, and 8. Humphreys, DeLay, and Duznak. Price back out on the mound to start his second inning. With the bases empty, operating out of the stretch, misses outside. Price got the first 2 outs quickly of the 5th, then allowed a 2-out single to Peter Alonso, struck out Corey Jolks to end the frame. Now quickly 2-0. Humphries 2 takes. I'm going to have to rescind my comments. I don't know if there's 867 tonight. I think it's a little bit to be expected, though, a Sunday night game after the All-Star game.
A little bit of a letdown, I think.
This ball laced into left field, dropping in front of Sowers on a few hops. A leadoff single for Corey Humphries, or rather Reed Humphries, starting off the 6th inning.
Yeah, he's put together a pretty good night. Opposite field home run and now pulling a single. See if he can get into scoring position for the Braves and extend their lead.
Jason DeLay, who is yet to record an at-bat in 2 plate appearances, a walk and a hit by pitch, came around to score back in the 4th inning on the 2 RBI double from Garzillo. Price, fastball misses, low, ball 1. That's the 2nd time in the game that the Bourne Braves have placed their leadoff runner aboard, and the first time to lead off an inning in which that base runner has come on a single. Peter Alonso was the other occasion, and he struck out and then advanced on the wild pitch.
Nice night here for baseball in Wareham. We've been told that rain's coming in, but nothing in the distance as far as clouds go.
Temperature has only dropped 2 degrees since first pitch, 75, now 73. In on the fist, and just to the left of the third base bag, it trickles foul.
I guess this should be expected in the Cape Cod Baseball League, where every player here is here for a reason, but despite the struggles of this roster, there aren't too many weak spots. We're reminded of this as Gatemen try and add a couple players before the end of the season.
1-2 pitch, fluttered up in the zone, count evened up at 2.
But there are competent, capable backups at pretty much every position at this point. Going in the outfield, people not in the lineup tonight, Beck, Warren. Warren was an all-star yesterday. He's not in the lineup today.
2-2 pitch, a breaking ball, delay, down swinging. A big strikeout there for Jared Price. Make that 3 in 2.1 innings of work. Actually 1.1. I guess I'm just mixing up my numbers. 1.1 innings of work and 3 strikeouts for Price.
Guys like John Sternagel, Mark Caraviotis have been mainstays in the lineup in recent weeks and not in the lineup tonight behind the plate. There are plenty of options other than Stupinski, although no reason to take him out at this point.
Runner goes, hit and runs on. A blooper into left field, down in front of Sowers. He plays it on a bare hand. This ball misses the cutoff man. Kisner over to cut it off. A double for Camden Duznak, and Humphries over to third.
Pretty impressive that Sowers got that one-hop smash to the left center field gap on a bare hand. Had he not done that, I think Humphries might try and go for the plate. But instead, it's in quickly, and now second and third, one out for Mike Garzillo.
Yeah, I misspoke. That was definitely not a bloop from Camden Duznak. Looked like he was possibly fooled, his weight out on his front foot, but still got much bat speed behind that pitch and laced it out into the left center gap. That draws the infield in. The Gatemen obviously not wanting to fall behind by more than 3. Check swing, bloop shoot into right field. It'll drop for a base hit. 1 runs in. Here's Duznak. He'll be held on the play. But Humphries will score an RBI single for Mike Garzillo. Now 3 RBIs for the second baseman.
Out of the 9 spot, too. Pretty impressive day for the second baseman. Smart choice by Duznak to not test the arm of Jay Jabs. He's thrown out so many guys this year, and from shallow right field, it would have been a piece of cake for him to toss in a one-hop throw to Gavin Stupinski.
Probably a situation in which the Gatemen have the infield back. They have a lot easier of a chance at making that catch. So 1 out in the 6th inning. The out coming on a strikeout from Jason DeLay. Mike Garzillo just had an RBI single, so make that 5-1 Bourne. Now it's the leadoff man, Nick Solak, who's 1 for 3. And again, it's the bottom of the order that has done the damage for the Bourne Braves. 6, 7, 8, and 9 scored 4 runs in the 4th inning. And it was Humphreys, the 6th hitter, who scored just now in the 6th. Price out of the stretch, fouled back and out of play. Gatemen trailing 5-1. The infield now back at double play depth. But anything softly hit to the corners, and should Duznak be attempting to swipe home on the play, they'll likely come home with it. 31 move, no throws either way. Just to keep the runners honest at 3rd and 1st.
Have you ever seen a 3rd to 1st move work?
I don't think so.
It's so universal to just step off.
Runner takes off, throw in the dirt, Stupensky bluffs. Garzillo into second base, so now 2 runners in scoring position for Solak.
This game could very quickly get out of hand if Price is unable to get an out here as the infield now creeps in. No chance for a double play anymore.
The lone occasion in which the 31 move may work is if the runner's going on the play and he sees the pitcher lift his foot up. Then you possibly could have him in a rundown, but I still don't think I've ever seen that. So now Duznak on 3rd, Garzillo at 2nd, infield drawn in. Now the count pushes to 3-1. Price has first base open, so he may be inclined to work against Ryan Bolt, who's 0 for 3 and on deck. The 3-1 pitch in the zone and ripped out to center field. Kalika came in. Now he watches it sail over his head. It hits off the face of the wall. Duznak in to score easily. Garzillo into the plate standing up. A 1-out, 2 RBI double for Nick Solak, his 2nd hit of the game. And now the Braves ahead by 6 runs.
I'll forgive Andrew Kalika for misreading that because I did too. I thought that ball was in on the hands. But Solak, I guess that's why he's an all-star. Able to push that one out and one-hopping the wall in right center field.
This game was within striking distance. The Gatemen had cut it to 3 after scoring 1 in the bottom of the 4th. But now after 3 runners cross the plate in the 6th, things starting to get out of hand. The danger is certainly not averted. Now Price has to navigate through the middle portion of the order, which has been held quiet. You'd think if the Bourne Braves score 7 runs, it's this middle portion that's doing the bulk of the damage. Line drive into Jabs in right field. Runner will be held on 3rd base. Again, very wisely. A 1-out single for Ryan Bolt, his first of the day.
And with that, everyone except for Brendan McKay, who's stepping up, has reached base for the Braves tonight.
Like he said last time, that may just mean that he's due.
But when I said that last time, he struck out looking, so...
Maybe he's more due now than he was before.
I suppose.
It's always fun rooting for good players like Brendan McKay. Comes into this game a hit in all 6 games, trying to extend that to 7 against the Gatemen. But he's working on an 0 for 3 night with 2 strikeouts. He does have Solak on 3rd and Bolt over at 1st. Stupensky and Kisner have a few words with their pitcher. Five hits in this 6th inning for the Bourne Braves, and only 1 out so far. Price misses low, ball 1. 5 hits, and 3 of them have come around to score. 2 of them were of the extra base variety, Duznak and Solak respectively. One and 0 to Brendan McKay. Rips it, but foul.
Can't see anyone warming up in the Gatemen bullpen. Even after the off day, they're generally short-staffed out there, so this is at least the inning of Jared Price.
On the outside corner, ball 2. Gatemen, of course, and the rest of the Cape League have an off day tomorrow. So if the bullpen's a little bit short-handed, they have 2 off days in 3 days, with the All-Star game being yesterday. Here's the 2-1 from Jared Price. McKay gives one a ride out to center field. Kalika has a beat on it. He puts it away. The throw will not come into the plate, which will allow Solak to tag up and cross home plate. A sac fly for Brendan McKay. Still hitless, but now with an RBI to his name. It's 8-1 Bourne.
A disappointing inning and looks to be a disappointing game for Jared Price and the Gatemen. Now we'll see how they respond in the last 4 trips to the plate. See if they put up a fight, as they have in a couple of these games, or if they go down quietly.
Yeah, I do recall that against Brewster, Wareham was pitted in an early 5-0 deficit, but they scored 4 unanswered runs, cut it within 1, but the rally came up a little bit short. 2 runners were caught stealing in that 9th inning that ultimately soiled any rally.
Because this game has playoff implications, I'll tell you that the Katuitt Kettleers with a 4-2 lead over the Orleans Firebirds in the top of the 9th inning right now.
That's significant. Alonso over in through the right side, or rather left side of the infield, past the glove of Kisner. Alonso now 2 for 4. Runners now at first and second.
That's a base hit, as it should be, but Kisner should have made that play, ranging to his left. It's something that he does make probably 95% of the time, but the one time it doesn't comes in a very inopportune time. The Braves just stringing together base runner after base runner.
Yeah, so Katuitt over Orleans, that's big, at least for Katuitt. It's important for the Gatemen to recognize that.
And the Falmouth Commodores trailing the Brewster Whitecaps 3-2 in the bottom of the 7th inning.
Price trying to get out of this nightmarish 6th inning. Misses low, ball 1. Jolks is up at the dish. He'll be the 9th batter to step to the plate this inning. Jolks is 1 for 3, singled in his first at-bat. Price from the stretch, and a fastball in there for strike 1. Six hits in the 6th inning. Has played at a total of 4 runs. Jolks takes a hack and off his foot right back to Price on the mound. Do things again with a 1-2 count.
That ball goes out of circulation. Wonder how many baseballs they go through in an average game. Would you say 4 boxes? That's 48?
I'd say that's close. I really haven't put too much thought to it, so I can't even give you an accurate guess if that's not accurate.
45? 4 to 5 boxes. Okay, so that sounds about right. Doesn't come cheap, I'm sure, but it's the price of a very high level of play that requires pristine baseballs.
Think about how many baseballs are gone through each day by not just the Cape League, but all of Major League Baseball. Quite a few. 2s across the board to Corey Jolks. Checks his swing, does not go, and a fantastic stop from Gavin Stupensky.
You know how Major League Baseball rubs up their pearls with Mississippi mud, very special type of mud?
Right.
I wonder if the Cape League does something similar with, say, Cape Cod Canal mud or something.
My best guess on that one would be probably not.
I should suggest it.
Runners off, the 3-2 pitch, fouled back.
I think I'm full of good ideas, most of which I don't feel comfortable
suggesting to anyone aside from me.
Right, but I think that's a good one. Something unique and something anecdotal that will provide broadcasters with something to talk about in blowout games. Breaking the fourth wall a little bit there, but
yeah. Payoff pitch. Runners will be in motion again. And again, Julks fouls it back.
But I think they just rub it up with either dirt or stone dust here. And usually baseball players, pitchers and hitters alike, don't like anything too white and shiny. They like it to be a little bit worn.
Yeah, even if they don't do it, it's still a good talking point on the broadcast to speak in terms of hypotheticals.
Of course.
In an 8-1 deficit for the Gatemen, runners moving, and they'll pull up into second and third base as Julks draws a 2-out walk. Now Humphreys to the plate, who started this whole inning off with a single.
That means officially that the Braves have batted around.
Correcto. It's Humphreys now, who has had a fantastic day. 2 hits, one of them a home run, and 2 runs scored. Price set at the eardrums. Now into home plate. Fastball with some tail on it, but it's ball 1. Four runs in the 4th inning, and now 4 have crossed the plate in the top of the 6th. Two and 0. Price trying to get through without surrendering even more than 4 runs. It's behind Humphreys, and a big swing and a miss, trying to hit a 5-run home run there and put this game even more out of reach. Two-one pitch. High and tight near the face of Reed Humphreys. Now it's 3-1. Price does not want to walk the runner on third base in.
I would say not, no. He's faced 13 batters, and he's only retired 5 of them.
The 3-1 pitch to Reed Humphreys in on the fist, fouled high and out of play. Over the third base bleachers, which still have some fans in them. It's still only the 6th inning, but the Gatemen now down by 7 runs.
It's a shame we don't have our wireless mics, because I could go out and talk to fans during this game.
What would you ask those fans?
Hey, how are you enjoying your time here at Spillane Field, the Fenway of the Cape?
Payoff pitch, and he walked him. Bolt in to score. Now a 5-run inning, and the bleeding continues for Jared Price. Jim Lawler out to the mound to potentially stop the bleeding and beckon someone from the bullpen.
I think it's going to be Ben Parr, a lefty, if I can see that correctly. A disappointing outing for Jared Price, who got through his first inning with no trouble, but has not gotten out of the 6th.
So Price departs here on the top of the 6th, and we're over into the 7th in our scorebook, which means we'll have to cross that off. Right now it's Bourne 9, Wareham 1, bases juiced with 2 outs on the top of the 6th. I've said this before, but the Gatemen could use a cheerleader right now.
I do like that. I like that song.
Yeah, it's catchy, but it's kind of just adds salt to the wounds when the Gatemen are down by 9 runs because they don't have any cheerleaders right now.
A little bit too peppy, I guess. But I was on that song before it got big. It sounds like a very hipster thing to say, but back in January, February, I became aware of that song, and I've been advocating for it ever since. It was extremely validating to me when it finally hit #1 on the Billboard charts a couple weeks ago.
Did you tout it originally as potentially the song of the summer?
I don't know if I did say that, although the last 2 years I did correctly guess the song of the summer. I was on Get Lucky from the beginning, and I also had Rude by Magic from the winter before, so I know what the people like.
The new pitcher for the Gatemen is Ben Parr out of Social Circle, Georgia. A Georgia Tech guy comes in with a 1.88 ERA. Started a game, but this will be his 9th appearance out of the bullpen, 10th overall. Doesn't have swing and miss stuff, but in a 9-1 deficit, just looking for a guy to throw strikes and to get outs. 5 runs across the plate for the Bourne Braves here in the 6th inning. Humphrey started all with a single. Duznak followed with a double, an RBI single for Garzillo. 2 RBIs on the Nick Solak double. A Ryan Bolt single. He came around to score as DeLay hits one foul into foul territory, but McKinnon does indeed have room. Puts it away for out number 3, but now Bourne with a 9-1 lead. This game getting out of reach, and if it wasn't already, it's certainly close to doing that. But the Gatemen trying to light a spark in their bats as we head to the bottom of the 6th on the Cape Cod Baseball League Network. Bottom of the 6th, Gatemen trail by the score of 9-1. Nick Sierra, Andrew Kisner, and Jay Jabs due up. We have a new face in the broadcast booth. Our field reporter is Megan O'Brien, and she now will join me for maybe an inning, maybe even more, on color commentating. Megan, it's a pleasure to have you in this booth.
Oh, Jake, it's a pleasure to be up here with you.
And my question right now for you, say you stay in your field reporter role, and I know a lot of what you do is based on talking with people, but what could you possibly report when the Gatemen are down by 8 runs? How do you instill some positivity?
Well, with hopes of there being a comeback, I guess. I mean, Ben Parr came in and got that out, so that's a bright spot.
I guess your role as a field reporter is rooting for the story more than, I guess, rooting for the Gatemen's success, though I know that's definitely a vital part of your job. Sierra rips one foul and then takes ball 1-1. 4 runs in the 4th for Bourne, 5 runs in the 6th inning. Have all but put this game out of reach if the Gatemen bats continue to go quietly. Sierra takes up and out, ball 2. He did not go around.
Nick Sierra has had a hot bat basically all year, Jake, and you know, he came off his Maryland season a little bit beat up. He had that broken hand bone.
2-1 pitch, ripped foul into the dugout of Bourne. Hopefully that didn't catch anyone.
But he hasn't shown any real signs of that in the batter's box, at least, Jake.
Referencing the ill effects of potentially, or lingering effects of the hand injury?
Correct.
2-2 to Sierra. Goes opposite field, and it slices foul off the light pole.
Sierra out of Maryland last year, Jake. Another Maryland Terrapin was here. Jose Quaz. He was drafted. Sierra and him communicated a little bit about the Gatemen, he told me. Had a great time here, according to Jose.
2-2 to Sierra. On the inside corner, strike 3. A quick out for Cody Sedlock as he tries to get through his 6th inning of work.
The third baseman, number 6, Andrew Kisner from North Carolina State.
You know, Jake, it's interesting because I feel like at the beginning of the season we saw a lot of those backwards Ks go up in the book, and Cooper Ferris was not happy about it at the beginning. Haven't seen many as of late, but tonight we have 2.
I know you being on the Cape for now your 2nd summer. What's that been like? Have you seen the evolution of a baseball team and the way it's being managed a bit differently now? Obviously this year a lot more success than last season, so I guess for you that's got to be a good sight to see.
Yeah, very good sight to see. I wouldn't say different, but I mean the guys are a lot happier, you know, when they're winning, obviously.
And so what lies in store for you in the future after this Cape League season? What's the ultimate goal?
Oh, man, Jake, we'll see. I'm going to head back to Northwestern and finish up my cross-country eligibility. And then look for a job. I mean, I'd love to work in baseball. I'd work in any sport. Hopefully a sideline reporter someday. Just a reporter talking about sports.
1-2 offering to Andrew Kisner is lined up the middle. Kisner's aboard for the second time. He's now 2 for 3.
The Gatemen can really use a solid bat in Andrew Kisner, and tonight it's been there. They just haven't been able to bring him around home. But Kisner, when he's on, he's dangerous.
Yeah, Kisner was second in hitting this season at NC State. Second in RBIs, too, and he had the fewest strikeouts on that team. On the Cape, though, his average down to 202. So struggling a bit, but not tonight. He's hit the ball hard on 3 occasions, but now 2 for 3 to show for it. J-Jab singled in the third, bounced into a double play in the 4th inning. Cody Sedlock induces another ground ball over to Garzillo, on to Duznak for 1, on to first, and in time. Jabs grounds into the second double play of the evening, and just like that, the Gatemen are wiped out in the 6th. Cody Sedlock now in line for a quality start. On to the 7th we go, 9-1 Bourne on the Cape Cod Baseball League Network. Second place Bourne Braves are playing like a second place team right now. And the Gatemen in third place are playing like an inferior team. Now down by 9-1. Eric Bramer joins me back on the broadcast.
How's it going?
It's going great.
What did I miss?
Megan departed after only a half inning, and I think it was for the sole purpose of allowing us to talk a little bit about my attendance guess. I guessed 876, or no, what did I guess actually?
867.
867. That's the second time tonight that I've mixed up numbers.
Oh
well. But turns out total attendance is 875, so I was only 8 off.
Pretty good.
And so now that we've finished talking about that, let's get Megan back on.
She's gone. I don't think she wants anything more to do with this job.
It's tough to come up with things to talk about.
No, it's not.
When your team is, or the team you cover is down by 8 runs.
Ben Parr out of Social Circle, Georgia. Do you know the origin of the name Social Circle?
I don't, but I did introduce Parr when he came into this game as being from Social Circle, Georgia. So no, I don't know the origin of it.
Social Circle, Georgia is halfway between Atlanta and Athens, Georgia. And it used to be at the junction of 2 major Native American roads. So it's thought that Social Circle was where the 2 tribes socialized.
Grand Prix socializes with his infield and calls everyone off. 1 out. Here on the top of the 7th, Duznak retired for the first time tonight.
Now that was something interesting that we talked about during the game. It's not that hard. Okay.
I don't know if Megan had any inclination of Googling the origins of Social Circle, Georgia, as now a phone's ringing in the press box. But
I'll answer it. Wareham Gatemen press box. Nothing.
That was pretty legendary. It's now the 9-hitter Mike Garzillo at the plate.
It was a dial tone.
This ball, softly hit left field. Sowers charging in. He plays it on a hop. Another barehanded stab by the left fielder, this time with not as much importance, but still kind of notable. Make that a 3-for-4 day for Mike Garzillo. He's been hitting the cover off the baseball.
That was kind of a dead end. I thought the phone call would lead to something miraculous and incredible.
That gives us a good opportunity to say, if you want to reach out to us ever, feel free to email us at pressbox@gateman.org. The evening for Garzillo has gone like this. 2 RBI double, RBI single and a stolen base, and now a single here in the 7th. 2 runs scored to go along with that. Now it's Nick Solak, who pretty much put this game out of reach with a 2 RBI double in the 6th. He's 2 for 4, so he's also looking for hit number 3, just like Garzillo just notched. It'll hinge on whether or not Ben Parr comes into the strike zone, as now it's 3-0.
I'm looking through some of these old emails, and nothing of any pertinent interest, but reminds me that we haven't had any emails in a couple days, so send them on in. It could be pictures of your pet. Could be pictures.
No, it can't.
No?
No.
Okay.
This ball ripped into left field through the left side of the infield for a base hit. Solak is now 3 for 5 on the evening.
Mike Grand Prix a few nights ago sent us a picture of Laguna Beach on his evening run. He said he was listening to us, and that was nice. That added to the pleasures of the evening from Chatham. So, we could make up a contest where you send in a picture and the best picture gets a shout out on the air.
You know what? Let's make that a contest right
Okay.
now.
All right.
So if we have anyone listening who, I guess, is in a good environment, that's the contest, right? Whoever sends in the coolest picture of their surroundings.
Yes,
Okay.
absolutely.
Get on it.
And if you think, well, I'm not in a very interesting place, imagine how many other people are thinking that. And I like to find extraordinary in the ordinary. So send it in anyway, and we'll see what happens.
Your living room may be voted the top living room of the Wareham Gatemen.
I don't believe we have the capability of showing it on the broadcast, but we'll try and describe it as best we can if or when some photos roll in.
We also encourage the use of Snapchat filters to make your environment look even more appealing than it actually is.
Sure, yeah. That'll tell us even more about where you are. I tried to submit a Wareham Gatemen Snapchat filter. I thought it looked pretty cool, but it was denied for some reason or another. Usually the main reason one is denied is because it's not relevant enough. It won't be used by enough people, but I don't think that's the case here, especially with the All-Star game.
They gave you a laundry list of reasons
I
why
think that's just the
Spillane Field Snapchat filter would not come to be.
That's a boilerplate excuse, though. I think I think there was just one or two things that did not meet the qualifications. It was a graphical rendering of the left field bleachers with Spillane Field and Wareham Gatemen in Red Sox Nation script. It's quite cool.
The 3-1 pitch to Bolt, roped out to right field, but Jabs comes in, spears it, his throw on to first not in time. So Bolt retired. He is now 1 for 5. 2 outs with 2 runners, still aboard in the 7th. If you don't have Snapchat to filterize your picture of your living room, Instagram is encouraged as well, and probably the more acceptable and the more high-profile medium in which to develop a strong picture.
Foursquare, LinkedIn, MySpace.
Okay, now we're pushing it.
Frenzy, GeoCities.
Fastball on the outside corner to Brendan McKay. McKay still hitless, 0 for 3 with a sac fly in his last at-bat.
I wonder if the Wareham Gatemen are on MySpace.
If they're on LinkedIn, they better connect with me ASAP.
Yeah.
If any of our listeners are on LinkedIn, I'd be a pleasure to connect with you in my quest for 500-plus connections.
See, I'm not one of those people who indiscriminately accepts connections. I have to know the person, either through personal life or professional life.
On LinkedIn,
Trying.
you could be turning down a job opportunity.
Well, usually it's people who just want to increase their connections list, and they don't really care about me or know me or anything like that.
Ground ball sharply hit. Robertson with the stab. His flip onto second is in time. A good play there from Kramer Robertson to end the top half of the 7th. But as we go to the 7th inning stretch, the home team is down by 8 runs. 8-9-1 due up for the Gatemen in the bottom half of the 2nd. We have a new pitcher into the game on in relief of Cody Sedlock. It's Kyle Driscoll, and looking at Driscoll's numbers, it's kind of rude that the Braves would even place him into this game, them being ahead by 8 runs. Driscoll this season, a 2.6 ERA, but that's not the bulk of the story. 17 innings pitched and 20 strikeouts. They bring in a strikeout guy when they're up by 8 runs?
Well, they just want to get this game over with, I guess. The book closed on Sedlock, 6 innings pitched, 1 run it was earned, 8 hits, 1 walk, 4 strikeouts, 81 pitches, 52 for strikes. Of course, many of those pitches thrown in a very low-pressure situation.
Sedlock indeed notches a quality start. He goes 6 innings of work, allowing 1 run to cross the plate and a total of 8 hits. Sowers swings and misses the count quickly, 0-2. Sowers grounded into a double play and then walked back in the 5th. I'll inform you now that we have our first submission into our picture contest. Sean Hamilton.
Very nice.
Listening in and tuning in on the plane.
Yes, I appreciate it. I wonder if that plane is in the air, and it says yes, flying back to Vancouver, Washington after a great week on the Cape. So perhaps in the air using his Wi-Fi connection to stay tuned.
Rolled over to Jolks at third. He'll have a strong throw across the infield to retire Sowers, who's now 0 for 2. He also added in something at the end that I don't want to go unnoticed. And what was that?
Give Gary a big hug. Gary Gatemen, the mascot of the Gatemen. We've buried the hatchet with him a couple times until he instigates another little rivalry. Will be in a form of détente.
I'm gonna
the big-nosed man.
I'm gonna say right now the caption is plus, the photography is plus, the location of the picture is plus. I think that's going to be hard to beat. Right now, he's the only one who submitted anything. This being, I'm assuming Ian Hamilton's dad. He was on the Cape, and I didn't personally meet him, but Sean, your son has an electric fastball and slider, and he's just an absolute pleasure to watch pitch.
And we sincerely hope we don't see him in this game tonight.
Correct. Hamilton named co-MVP with Devin Smeltzer of the Western Division All-Star team. Grand Prix down looking the second time in which that's happened. He's 1 for 3.
The center fielder, number 20, Andrew Kalika.
I say we hope we don't see him tonight because I'd like to think that the Gatemen will save him for a more stressful, more high-pressure situation where the game is a little bit closer, either tomorrow or, excuse me, no game tomorrow, either on Tuesday or Wednesday.
In all seriousness, we have lost a lot of our seriousness with the score being 9-1, but let's talk about the potential playoff role for Ian Hamilton. I know we just got another picture in, but I guess refrain from commenting on that until you can answer my serious question.
Playoff picture.
Well, playoff role of Ian Hamilton. Will he be continued to be used as a starter, or will he be this team's lockdown closer?
That's a very tough question, and something that I think Cooper Ferris might have intimated to us in our pregame chat with him. He said that he'd like to have Hamilton late in the games. And there's certainly plenty of starting pitching on this team. You've got Hill, you have Fox, even Grant Dyer could throw a couple innings if need be, and plenty of other guys have given contributions. Crook could probably start a game. But if there's a close situation, I don't think there's anyone you'd rather have on the mound late in the game than Ian Hamilton. That's my democratic way of phrasing your question.
1-2 pitches in on the fists of Kalika. He stays alive in his pursuit to keep a hitting streak alive. I'll add one more thing, and then I'll let you address the picture that we just received.
All right.
But the one knock, and I don't even know if it's a knock, on Ian Hamilton as a starting pitcher is that he's a max effort guy as Kalika goes down swinging on strikes to end the 7th inning. Max effort guys typically are better suited in a bullpen role, and Hamilton, knowing last night that he'd only be throwing 1 inning, utilized his entire max effort. We saw that just rearing back, throwing fastball and 2 sliders, as he intimated after the game. Remains to be seen if that's an effective strategy he can use as a starter. We're done with that conversation. We'll address the picture that we just received in our email inbox on the other side of this break. 9-1 Braves as we go to the 8th. Through 7 complete, the Bourne Braves are out to a 9-1 lead. 4 runs in the 4th, 5 runs in the 6th have certainly done the trick in placing them by 8 runs in front of the Wareham Gatemen. 4, 5, and 6 due up for the Braves in this half inning. Sean Anderson is the new pitcher on the mound.
Anderson's ERA a bit high at 6 flat, 0-2 on the year, but only 15 innings pitched. And most of his struggles have been condensed into a couple innings. 10 strikeouts in those 15 innings pitched, and 5 walks, 11 hits allowed. Looking to stop the bleeding here, as the Braves have scored 9 runs, all since the 4th.
Final totals on Ben Parr, 1.1 innings pitched, no runs, 2 hits, no walks, no strikeouts either.
We have 2 submissions that we need to discuss on the air from our Where Are You Watching the Gatemen contest. That doesn't really roll off the tongue, but I haven't thought of a better name for it yet. The first new one is from Mike Grand Prix, who's watching the game, presumably from his home. Nice HD TV, so they've blown up the internet stream and put it on the TV above the fireplace. Nice framed pictures on either side and the entertainment center. And 2 sets of feet at the bottom of the screen. We'd like to think that Mike's feet are on the right, the ones that don't have painted nails, but we won't judge if Mike's on the left. And we have another one from Eileen Cunning, and looks like 3 large beanbag chairs and very ornately decorated room. We're just having too much fun with this. Thank you, Eileen, for the submission. I've never described a picture like this before. This is a picture of 3 large beanbag chairs. That's exactly what it is. I don't know why that was what sent you off, but what's behind the drapes? I guess we don't know. Could be a window. It could be a mysterious guest. But fly ball down the right field line. Jabs has it in the corner. He puts it away in foul territory for out number 1.
I'm so sorry that you had to rescue me in that situation.
Had it just been me, I think I would have been fine, but you're just dying to the right of me.
I don't even know why that's so funny to me.
It's just a picture of beanbag chairs. I think just the emotions running high in the booth late in the game,
man,
and they got the best
intense.
of you.
I'm crying at this point. There's 1 out here in the 8th inning. Sorry for the lack of professionalism, but I guess this entire contest isn't very professional, so...
Well, yeah, I mean, we're trying to keep things interesting and fresh. We've called a couple blowout games, a couple in favor of the Gatemen, a couple the other way, and we're just trying to keep the viewers engaged.
In my defense, the entire rest of the broadcast booth laughing at me laughing certainly did not help the situation, only made me laugh harder. In on the fists of Corey Jolks, fouled down the first base line. Goodness gracious. Let's hope, though, that Eileen is indeed watching the game. I mean, she obviously is because she submitted a picture into the contest.
Yeah, and let's be clear to Eileen. The picture is not the butt of the joke. It's
I don't even know what there's no butt of the joke.
The concept of people sending pictures of their living rooms in, I think, is what really got us going. So far, we have 3 submissions as ground ball hit to second, Robertson on to first, in time to get Julks by a step. He's now 1 for 4 on the day. 3 submissions, the most recent from Eileen. That was a picture, presumably, of her living room. Couple nice beanbag chairs. Looks like a very comfortable place to watch a ball game.
The issue with this contest that I didn't foresee, because I didn't think we would even get 3 submissions, is that now we're into the territory of judging the quality of people's living rooms, picture-taking abilities.
I disagree. I wholeheartedly disagree. I think visually interesting is what we're going for. And all 3 have been interesting in some way because we've been able to dissect them to some degree. Eileen's of her living room. Mike Grand Prix.
Of their feet. I think that's key in theirs. There's a lot of straight lines going on. Great centering job by getting the TV in the center of the frame. The
very Californian thing to put your feet in the picture, isn't it?
Exactly, and you can tell that it's not dark there either. I love that about that picture because it's, what is it on the West Coast? It's 5:32 right now. they're taking time out of their Sunday evening to catch some Sunday night baseball instead of watching ESPN's broadcast. They're watching ours.
And then Sean Hamilton somewhere in the air on his way back to Vancouver, trying to figure out what the people in front of him are watching on their screen, but that might be prying a little bit too much, and it's hard to tell just from one still image.
There are 2 quick outs here in the 8th inning. Sean Anderson's the new pitcher on the mound. Just got a few more emails. We'll address those later. Broken bat shattered up the middle. Anderson fields his position. Flip on to first. Out number 3 in a 1-2-3 inning for Anderson. Much needed for the Gatemen. On to the bottom of the 8th we go. Robertson, Stupensky, and McKinnon due up. We're just having fun now on the Cape Cod Baseball League Network. On the Cape Cod Baseball League Network, Jake Garcia, Eric Bramer, Megan O'Brien, and now our entire viewing audience as we're getting a plethora of emails being sent to us now. One more just rolled in, but first we'll address the newest member of the Wareham Gatemen, Jose Carrera, signed and activated for today's ball game. Coming from the Manhattan Jaspers, takes a first pitch strike from Driscoll. Addressing the other elephant in the room, Carrera checks in at 5'6", according to his Manhattan Baseball League website, 145 pounds. Checks his swing. Yes, he did. 1-2.
What does your driver's license say you are listed at?
Honestly, not 5'6" or 145. It's less on both accounts as Carrera goes down, swinging 1 out.
But I think you have a couple inches on Carrera.
I do. I have 2 inches to be exact, and 10 pounds as well.
Okay.
So,
well, Carrera is on the team in large part because of his ability to steal bases. I believe it was 15 of 16 in the latest collegiate season. So if he's nothing more than a pinch runner, he can provide value. I hope that his bat can get going and he can provide some other value in other ways. We've heard that he's very slick with a glove as well as Stupensky steps to the plate.
Carrera, as a freshman, stole 26 bases, hit 260. Stupensky goes opposite field. Shallow enough for Solak to come racing in and put it away for out number 2.
We have a couple more submissions in the picture contest. We have one from one of Gavin Stupensky's friends in New Jersey, the island of Stromboli. Stromboli not far from Sicily, but the picture is from a cruise last year. And while we thank Frank for submitting the picture, I think in our ambiguity, the hastiness of this contest, we failed to clarify what exactly we're looking for. Initially, we were talking about cool pictures, but now the most recent submissions have all been from where you're watching or listening to this game. So, Frank, if you truly are...
that would be legendary.
Yeah, if you're in Stromboli right now, that would definitely win the contest hands down. But I don't think that would qualify. Cool picture, though. Very nice slope.
And we're not done there. We got more, too. It's McKinnon at the plate, a 1-2 count with 2 outs. Ground ball left side. Jolks unable to come away with it as it hits off his glove and trickles into left field.
We have one from Lucas Saunders. And Lucas is in the football press box. He's one of our cameramen for WCTV. Not very visually interesting, I must say. He's chosen to angle it towards the rest of the press box. So it's not the angle that you can see on your television screen. That one right there. I believe
that's his camera.
I believe
on
it is.
Our broadcast.
Yep. But he's chosen to show us the inside of the football press box, and you can see some of the rubbish refuse on the floor from the previous winter when some wildlife got in the press box. That hasn't been cleaned up yet. No reason to clean it up. I suppose it isn't very populated during the summer. Not until the fall does the football press box come into use.
Thank goodness for David McKinnon getting a hit through the 6-hole there to allow you to break down a press box in left field at Spillane. Another rifle shot into the dugout of the Bourne Braves.
We've gotten another submission from Sean Hamilton, who must really want to win this contest. Same angle, but now we have a picture of, boy, is that a Terminator movie? Or
I think the caption, though, is what's important. Didn't he say it's from like 36,000 feet in the air?
37,000 feet.
37?
I guess you could say that from his vantage point, this Wareham Gatemen game is a nightmare at 37,000 feet.
Good one.
Yeah, you know. You're a big Twilight Zone guy?
If you were trying to make me die from laughter, not successful.
Well, you're not a big Twilight Zone guy, evidently.
1-2 pitch. Sierra comes up empty. He's down on strikes for the third time this game. On to the ninth we go. We'll see if it's Sean Anderson back out on the mound. Keep sending in those pictures. It's 9-1 on the Cape Cod Baseball League Network. On to the ninth inning we go at Spillane Field. We have some defensive substitutions that we'll talk about right now. Jose Carrera, who pinch hit for Kramer Robertson in the bottom of the eighth, is now taking his position for the time being at second base. New catcher is Max Siebert on in relief of Gavin Stepanski. The new pitcher on the mound, Ryan Olson, a big right-hander out of Cal Poly Pomona.
Olson on the year actually has been a pinch runner in a game, or he entered the game, then the team lost their DH, then he entered in the game. So he has two stat lines on our stat sheet, but on the year pitching, which is what's pertinent right now, 0-3 with a 3.92 ERA. Only pitcher with multiple saves on the year for the game, and he has two. So when we talk about playoff late inning options, Olson one of them, even though that's probably not where he feels most comfortable.
You got the tall, lanky, 6'4" Preston Grand Prix over at short. His double playmate is 5'6" Jose Carrera. Running through the changes now with the home plate umpire as he reports them up to the press box, saying that Siebert will be replacing Gavin Stepanski in the 3-hole. And we have two pinch hitters for Bourne as well. We'll
Things are getting wild, man.
relay you those as quickly as we can. Billy Walker is now the hitter at the plate, a catcher out of Hartford, so teammates with David McKinnon back at school. But he's on in place of Jason DeLay, who, though he was hitless, was on base twice and scored a run. Walker this season, a .233 batting average, 7 hits, 30 at-bats, 2 extra base hits, both of them doubles. We got another email into the press box account.
From Noah, back in the WC TV truck.
That's a nicely lit picture.
Very nice. Trying to dissect this, you can see the main program channel in view from the center field camera. Got a laptop, got a video mixer. Must be interesting in the TV truck right now.
0-2 curveball in there for strike 3. A knee buckling offering from Ryan Olson retires the pinch hitter here for 1 out in the ninth. We got a response from the friend of Gavin Stepanski.
So Frank Pinto says, I believe it, Pinto? Like Hosemeal Pinto?
My best guess.
Frank says that he's still on the island. He jumped the ship and swam to shore. He cleans fish for a living, and he is in the running for mayor of one of the local towns. I do not believe him at first blush.
His really, though, in the last paragraph, kind of makes me feel like he's being serious. I'm going to say I agree with it.
I'm reading it the exact opposite way, just for the record. But now that Gavin's out of the game, we appreciate that at least for the last moment or two, he is still tuning in.
0-2 count quickly to not Camden Duznak, a pinch hitter, and this ball ripped down the third base line into the corner. Sowers again tries to barehand it, fumbles it around a little bit, and that'll allow what was the place of Camden Duznak and is now C.J. Chatham. That'll allow him to motor into second base.
That was a disappointing play by Andrew Kisner at third base. He didn't lay out for that, and while you don't expect your fielders to have quite the same fire in the ninth inning of a blowout game, I'm sure Ryan Olson would have appreciated at least a little bit more outward display to try and knock that one down.
Fastball high and tight to start off the bat of not a pinch hitter. It's still Mike Garzillo in there, looking for his 4th hit of the evening. I'm going to say, for the sake of our contest, that once this top half of the ninth inning ends, that's the cutoff for sending in pictures. It will allow us the break to come to a consensus and determine the winner, which we'll likely announce after out number 3 of the bottom of the ninth inning.
Sure.
Sound good? All right.
In lieu of a player of the game, perhaps?
I can get on board with that.
All right.
2-2 to Mike Garzillo. Fastball. Low around the shoe tops. Garzillo, after striking out looking in the 2nd inning, has been a force at the plate since then. 2 RBI double in the 4th, RBI single in the 6th, and an RBI in the 7th. The payoff pitch from Ryan Olson on the inside, and Garzillo will be aboard for the 4th time.
Left fielder number 2, Nick Solak from Louisville.
That'll bring up Nick Solak. He's 3 for 5, 3 hits in his last 3 plate appearances. A single, double, and a single, 3 runs batted in. As Solak goes, so too go the Braves. All of Solak's hits coming since the 4th inning, and all of the Braves' runs coming since the 4th.
Solak had a 3 for 4 day yesterday at the All-Star game. Another 3-hit performance here tonight in a game that actually counts against the Wareham Gatemen. That extends Nick Solak's hitting streak to 6 games on the season.
Just because I'm a cruel person, I'm going to point out a typo in Frank's email. Instead of calling it Stromboli Island, he called it Stromboil. And I would imagine if Stromboli were called Stromboil, it were on the menu, it would not be nearly as popular. Something about the word boil just kind of sounds unappetizing to me. I don't know. Would you agree?
I'm not sure if I have too strong an opinion about that. Out to right field where Jabs camps underneath. His throw into third base is a cannon, but Grand Prix cuts it off. All right, now I feel like Frank is pulling our leg.
Big wind's coming, and you can't get good reception with the coat hanger on the fig tree on the volcano. Tell Megan she has a fan club on the island. Well, thank you, Frank. We will relay that message on to Megan, who... She's still here?
Nope, Megan packed it in, left home early. Just
well,
kidding.
I mean,
I'm totally kidding.
I haven't seen her, but yeah, we'll pass that on to her, and she will be conducting some post-game interviews. Whether or not it's a player of the game, we're not sure. But if the league could find 2 MVPs in the losing effort yesterday for the All-Star game, we assume we could probably find someone to interview after the game here today.
Grand Prix had an extra base hit. Kramer Robertson had 2 hits, as did Kisner. It's got to be Kisner. He hit the ball hard on 3 occasions. That's my personal vote.
All right. I'm not going to argue with you. A general malaise has set in over the press box at Spillane Field.
Have a pinch hitter here in place of Ryan Bolt, unannounced to us, but number 7 on the helmet, which means it's Jacob Robson, who, by all intents and purposes, is an everyday starter for this team. .295 batting average, leads this team with 9 doubles, was selected to the All-Star game, where he had a base hit, I believe, yesterday. A stellar player from Mississippi State. But Olson has him down in a 1-2 count with 2 outs here in the 9th inning on the outside corner, not ruled, strike 3.
Well, this was fun, I must say.
We should make that a theme should the Gatemen get blown out or blow another team out.
I like that.
Maybe it doesn't have to be where you're watching the Gatemen. Maybe it can be a different contest. I don't know what. But we'll have an off
Yeah,
day tomorrow to think about
We'll
it.
think about it.
With a runner on first and third, 2-2 with 2 outs. Olson thought he had strike 3, walks off the mound, glares in. Obviously frustrated at the lack of an expanded strike zone, down by 8 runs.
How about the last picture in your camera roll? Or could that leave it
That
open?
could get dangerous.
Yeah,
that could get really dangerous.
Yeah, there could be some dangerous stuff. You never know. But, no, we'll have to think about it.
Runner taking off. Ground ball over to Carrera at second. His first opportunity. And a Gateman jersey is executed with ease. The Gatemen get 3 outs in the 10th inning and strand a pair, or rather 9th inning, 10th in my scorebook. Strand a pair of runners as well. Bottom of the 9th we go. Gatemen down to their final 3 outs, down by 8 runs. Bottom of the 9th inning. Gatemen need 8 to tie and 9 runs to win. That may be out of the question, and maybe they don't have much to play for anymore, but there is still a big reason to tune into this broadcast because we've reached the bottom of the 9th inning, which means we will now announce the winner of our picture submitting contest.
Before we announce that, there's one more submission, and it's the view from the porta potty in left field here at Spillane Field. Probably not going to be considered for the grand award. Still not sure what the award's going to be.
Who is that sent by?
CSW. N. DeMont, 2016 at csw.org.
Well, CSW, I don't think you will come away with the fictitious award we're about to give out. Kisner takes at the 1-1 pitch into left field, where the left fielder in place of Solak will be to make the catch.
My vote is going to be for Sean Hamilton, who is watching this game from 37,000 feet on his way back to Washington. I think that's pretty darn impressive.
Yeah, I concur with that as well. Great effort there on the picture. First of all, to snag that picture, and then I'm not sure how he was able to manage to get a signal up in the air. Maybe he purchased a complimentary Wi-Fi deal that the plane service provides. Maybe it's offered free on the plane that he is currently traveling on. But great effort to, 1, take that picture, 2, to send it our way, and I guess 3, to be tuning in at 37,000 feet.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, I think paying for a complimentary service is antithetical to the definition of complimentary. But beyond that, I think
it's 9-1. Let's focus on the task at hand here, which isn't correcting what I say.
I'm just saying. I think, yeah, absolutely. That a very deserving winner among a field of deserving participants.
Thank you, everyone, for participating, and we'll be back at it the next time the Gatemen either blow a team out or get blown out.
Sean was flying JetBlue Airlines. Not having flown JetBlue, I can't attest to their service, but apparently they offer Wareham Gatemen games as an option.
Last hope for the Gatemen is Max Siebert, making his first at-bat of the game, and hitting in the place of Logan Sowers. So it was not a straight switch with Gavin Stupensky. 1-2, bounced in the dirt. The new pitcher, by the way, is Daniel Jagailo.
Connor Beck came in and played left field in the 9th inning, so Beck in a double switch going into the 3 spot. And Beck is batting 5th after this, should the game extend.
2-2 count to Siebert. Runs high and outside. Now the count's full. Preston Grand Prix awaits on deck. The payoff pitch to Siebert, fouled back. So the Grand Prix could be in line for 2 possible treats. They stuck around to ultimately see their picture not win, but they stayed around nonetheless, and their son could bat, but instead Siebert doesn't answer my or Grand Prix' prayers. Down on strikes, looking a 1-2-3 inning for Daniel Jagailo. That closes out a 9-1 win for the Bourne Braves. The win for the Braves propels them to 18-18-2 on the season. Meanwhile, Wareham drops to 15-22-1. As for how that affects all the playoff pictures, well, Bourne inches a little bit closer to Hyannis. The Gatemen drop at least 5 games behind the Hyannis Harborhawks after Hyannis won tonight. Falmouth ended up losing. That's good news for the Gatemen, so they stay 2 games ahead of last place Falmouth. Cotuit won, so Cotuit now a half game within striking distance from 3rd place. This is significant because it's, I think, in the Gatemen's best interest to get the highest seed possible as they go into the playoffs. And instead of playing the team in Hyannis, a first-place team, they would get Bourne if they stayed in the 3 position.
Yeah, it's almost a race to the bottom at this point. The Falmouth Commodores, losers now of 5 straight, have by far the worst run differential in the league at -58. They have 27 points, and the Wareham Gatemen, after their loss tonight, have 31. So the Gatemen 2 games safe from missing out on the playoffs.
So we'll recap some of the scoring that took place. It came in bunches for the Braves. 4 runs in the 4th inning. It all got started after Reed Humphreys blasted an opposite field home run off Grant Dyer. DeLay was then hit by a pitch. Duznak walked. Garzillo knocked both of them home with a 2 RBI double. So that accounted for the 4 runs in the 4th. The Gatemen did respond with one of their own in the 4th, an RBI single for David McKinnon, and that put them within 3 runs. This game looked to be within striking distance until the 6th inning happened. The Bourne Braves batted around in that inning. A single from Humphreys, a double from Duznak, RBI single from Mike Garzillo, 2 RBI double from Nick Solak, and then a sac fly from Brendan McKay. So final score here from Spillane Field, 9-1 Braves here on a Sunday evening. The Gatemen have now lost 3 games in a row. Meanwhile, the Bourne Braves have now won 3 games in a row. So with that, we'll thank you for choosing to spend your Sunday evening with us on the Cape Cod Baseball League Network. For my color commentator, Eric Bramer, our field reporter, Megan O'Brien, our broadcast director, Warren Randolph, and everyone here at the Gatemen organization, we thank you for tuning in. After an off day tomorrow, we will be back at it on Tuesday on the road, an audio-only broadcast against the Harwich Mariners. So with that, I'm Jake Garcia saying so long from Spillane Field. Final score, Bourne Braves 9, Wareham Gatemen 1.